Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Why, it's nice of you to join us.
What's going on here?
What was that?
What just
Right
happened?
here on Grapsody.
I'm confused.
I know, I was trying to do
Dun, 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 dun.
I see.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bro, you turned
trying
around
to-
like the villain from Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I was trying to do like a super villain.
I thought you were gonna have one of your cats up there for a second, like rubbing
Yeah,
them.
for real.
Yeah.
We're starting off away, I see.
We are starting off away. Look, it's Saturday, and it is a different kind of Saturday here in the Washington household because my wife is in Detroit right now, and
Detroit,
so
Rock City.
me and the kids, like woke up super late today, and also my daughter ain't got her acting class today.
Okay.
So it's just a different kind of Saturday.
It's just a chill family day. What y'all got going on today?
Veda has a singing recital this afternoon.
Oh, that's what's up.
So getting together with the grandparents, and then she's got to sing a solo.
Ooh.
She's singing "Part of Your World" from The Little Mermaid. So
Oh, that's
that'll be
what's
fun.
up.
Yep. But hey, folks, this is Grapsody. I'm Will Washington. How you doing? Also here is Phil Lindsey,
I'm in the place to be. What's going on, guys?
and also here. I know you heard the two of us, maybe you have, do a podcast earlier this week, but Mr. Righteous Reg is back with me today.
Yo, it's Media Man in the building. Your favorite rapper, your favorite
We
writer, your
kinda-
favorite podcast.
We kind of podcast a bit too. Like, we're out here, man.
Yeah, this is just like podcast. This is my 3rd podcast this week, actually. So, yeah, shout out to podcast. Y'all go listen to Blackpool Combat Club before I forget.
Yeah.
Now. Not right now because we're doing this, but right after this, go listen to that.
But yeah, that's right. Me and Phil did the we talked Batman, Batman. Sorry, we talked the Batman, and then literally an hour and a half later, me and Reg talked Dynamite on Day After Dynamite. So I've been podcasting with you guys all week already. But this is the one where the 3 of us get together.
Yes.
Grapsody. This is
Nah,
what we
man.
do.
Except no substitutes. That other stuff is cool, but it ain't what we do here.
Yeah, come on. You know what's up.
And so there's, let's make sure. I already did make sure. I was like, oh yeah,
Them humpers.
humper chats. Nah, I already checked. I checked like an hour ago to make sure. This is stuff I'm like doing before the show.
The daddy section. Y'all are nasty in there.
Yo,
I
Y'all
saw
cutting
that
up?
sign though. I saw that sign on Rampage last night, daddy section, and they definitely got some good old laughs.
You got to take a sign next time to the next show. So
Yeah, for real.
cutting up, man.
Hey, do you know what I actually? Let me start off by letting everybody know we do got super chats, we do got humper chats, and if you go to humperchats.com, that is a way you can get your messages to the show, and they help support us a whole lot better because they don't take as big of a cut as YouTube does. But if you want them to come up on the screen with the fancy graphics, then give us a super chat, and we've got plenty of super chats. We have Tremaine said the Fed tried to win the breakup with Stoke. Said, oh, do we really want him anyway?
we about to see, baby. We about to
RH
see.
says, give me Stokely Hathaway with Dante Martin or Jade Fire Smart Mark for focusing on
Bro,
Tony Nese.
can you
and
guys
have her-
I'm writing an article today. Could you guys get out of my brain?
What? Why y'all hating on Smart Mark so bad, man?
Yo.
Like, let him do his job.
I actually
Yo.
like Smart Mark as the simp that he is. Like,
Bro, I'm about to write an article about how Stokely's going to get Sterling out of here. So I shouldn't be saying that out loud because I'm about to write it. But you guys, stop it.
Nah, man. Let Mark cook, man. He got it.
No, the number one Stokely Hathaway client right now is Jade Cargill. That's $1 billion.
Nah, man. Ever since I saw somebody say Stokely with the guys in infantry, I was like,
That's a great one, honestly. Like, I saw that one too, and I thought, it's a topic today. Obviously, you look at the title of this video; it's obviously a thing we're going to talk about. Let's see. We've got Carlos says, "What's up, Grapsody fam? Hope everyone has a good weekend. I just wanted to plug my favorite promotion, AAA tonight. That's right. Tonight on Fight, gotta represent my people and Vikingo." Phoenix and the Bucks, yeah.
Yes, I couldn't be more excited about a tag team match, even though I've seen a bunch of great tag team matches in the last couple of weeks. But this is gonna be fucking sane. I'm gonna watch tonight, and I'm gonna cry while watching it because it's gonna be an amazing experience. The Young Bucks, Phoenix is fucking back. Vikingo is insane. He's gonna be flipping, running, doing all kinds of crazy shit. This shit is gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
Like we talked about it on Day After Dynamite, but like the moment this match was announced, that was like the red flag of wait. Phoenix is like
Phoenix
back.
is really
Phoenix
back.
is back.
He
So
is
like
back.
that was. Like, I wish I was surprised in that moment on Dynamite, but, like, as soon as I noticed...
I didn't see that before Dynamite.
Yeah, I was watching Dynamite, and as I see the hooded figure not showing his face, I'm like, oh, it's Rey Fenix, because he's wrestling this weekend at AAA, so we know he's good.
And he's really back because he's going right into a Young Bucks match. It ain't no warm-up match.
He came straight out doing dives, bro. I was like, nah, he's back.
He's ready. He is back. Now,
it's going to be amazing.
Like I said on Day After Dynamite, which, speaking of which, if you're not watching Day After Dynamite every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and this week my guest was Righteous Reg, so we talked Dynamite.
And we talked to Will's porn collection and his hard drive. So if
Yeah,
you
we
want to
did.
find out more about that,
Wait, what?
if you want to find out more about that, go ahead and tune in to Day After Dynamite.
Look, man, there's always some kind of irreverent conversation happening with me around, and that was one of them. Check out this week's Day After Dynamite, YouTube.com.
Did you get that hard drive yet?
I sent it off,
Okay.
So we'll see.
Fingers crossed for the
Fingers
porn.
crossed. You want to hear that conversation? YouTube.com/Fightful Overbooked.
Yes.
Thursdays, Day After Dynamite. Let's see. We've got a few Humper Chats. Jennifer, the weekly love. She
Shout out
says
to
weekly
Jennifer.
love and support for the Grapsody gents. You are killing it out there. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Jennifer. We
No, thank
always
you.
appreciate you.
Seriously,
Van Twinblade says, I need 5 minutes of you guys talking about that Glory Pro live show.
Glory Pro show was fire, yeah.
Also, STL versus the World is tonight with 2D versus Tennille Dashwood, Davey Richards versus Samurai Del Sol,
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm liking what I'm hearing here.
and Alex Shelley versus Mike Outlaw.
Oh,
It'll be up on YouTube in a few weeks.
wow. Alex Shelley and Mike Outlaw is awesome. Mike Outlaw has been on a great run in Glory Pro. He's an incredible talent. Samurai Del Sol back in the game. He's awesome. He's going to be doing all kind of flips and shit. He should have.
Former Callisto, by the way.
Yeah, I don't like what happened with that whole AEW.
Brody
Yeah,
thing.
that was
The name, that was
weird.
so weird.
That was really weird. Like, what?
Dude,
I
what
still don't.
happened?
There had to have been something more to that.
Right, yeah. That
But
was just
everybody I've asked is just like, I don't know. That
Right.
was those
Nah,
guys.
people-
Chris Jericho
what?
has something out for him.
People started dunking, and it was crazy. That was
Yeah.
kind of like that night that Riker put that tweet out, and everybody took turns dunking on him. It was like Globetrotter game. I was like, yo, what's going on, man?
Also, Carlos says recovering from COVID, which sucks. Hey, it does. It's still out there, folks.
It's
No,
out
it
there
came
as
back
fuck.
hard too.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's a lot of people I know that didn't get it for like 2 years, and like all of a sudden they got it now. So guys, please be careful.
Oh shit! All that shit I talked like 4 months ago.
Nah, man, it's serious out here, man. Please
Yeah.
be careful, man. If you're not already vaccinated, please get vaccinated. Mask up. Don't listen to these crazy out here that
Mask
act like it's
on.
over.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Mask off. Shout out to Future. That new Future album's dope.
He says, but on the positive side, I'm able to catch Grapsody live for the first time in months.
Oh, that's what's up.
So,
we live as fuck, and we got a
trade
whole
off. It's
bunch to talk about today too. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Oh, a lot. D-Lo says in my Jay-Z voice, squad in the house. And he says, hope everything's been well. Also, sidebar, never knew I needed heel Red Velvet in my life more and more as time goes on.
Big, super huge agree. I love the fire that she had last night. She was, something extra.
Yeah, and she worked dark, like full on heel this week. And as she hit the stage, you could just see it immediately. She like starts to do the stir up and it looks at the fans and
she
like,
wanted to be heel. Yeah, let's go.
Like,
this is awesome.
I love it. She's sick of y'all, and you can see it in the tweets. You can see it on her face. She's sick of y'all. Stop playing with her.
No, honestly, that's a thing that goes along with being heel. It's like, I can talk shit on Twitter now. Like, make me heel, dude. I want to tell these fans what's up.
Listen, when we got off of here last weekend and I saw she responded to that fan, I was like, nah, she for real sick of y'all.
and you know, though,
Sick
the thing
and
about
tired.
the thing about every successful babyface is that, or at least most of them, like 90% of every successful babyface is rooted in a good heel run.
Yeah.
That it usually started with something that people were supposed to hate, but they eventually gravitated to it. You look at Stone Cold was a heel. The Rock was a heel. John Cena was like rooted in the Thugonomics gimmick. Like everybody.
I still think that they're gonna turn Big Rome one day, and he's gonna be a huge babyface.
Yeah,
so
and
they're
like
setting
he's
him up
already
for
like
that.
working. He's already working the house shows, like cutting babyface promos.
Yeah.
Give me a few weeks. I have a take on that. I'm gonna give it some time. I've been trying to be nice. Give me a few weeks.
But yeah, like but Roman's another one that is still rooted in, like, if he eventually is turned face, it's every successful babyface needs a good heel run, and I think because it's always the fans just eventually gravitate to somebody they're supposed to hate and turn and make them popular, and it almost like never fails.
Yeah, kind of opposite too. When somebody comes out and you're supposed to like them, sometimes fans kind of get on them and be annoying, and that makes it easy for them to turn heels. Like this case, I think that she got a bad rep for a while, and I think this is going to give her a chance to cut loose and be more herself out there.
Yeah, I honestly felt like she was the best part of that match. It's crazy enough with all that talent. Like, the fire that she showed, I was like, wow, this is great. I'm
that
loving
spear,
what's
she was like, fam.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. I'm telling you, stop playing with me.
I'm loving what Red Velvet is doing. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And, baddies, so very beautiful, honestly, on top of it.
And then D-Lo also said, thank you, Bivens, for the Cameron O'Boyd Pink tribute. Also, go Mavs. The Mavs did, as a matter of fact, did any lower seeds win? I don't think so.
No, everybody who was supposed to win won.
It was all top seeds, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What do you mean everybody that was supposed to win?
I mean, you know what I'm saying, Phil. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
Milwaukee. What the fuck is in Milwaukee anyway? Fucking Milwaukee.
A fucking Greek freak. That's what's in Milwaukee. That fool's a beast.
Milwaukee. Grayson Allen. Fuck out of here.
I can't stand when a white boy's cooking. It's the worst. When a white boy starts cooking on the court, I'm like, I gotta turn this off.
No, because this is Jokic country over here.
Oh,
so like,
God.
Come on, man. Steve Kerr's a legend in this city, man. Come on.
Steve Kerr over there, and then like I said, Jokic over here, and it's like the thing about Jokic, and we got eliminated. I know.
Sorry,
but the thing about Jokic,
fam,
is that this dude is like the least graceful player, and yet everything it's all ugly, but it
it's so
goes
ugly,
in.
But it's going in. Do
it
not
goes
worry.
in.
It's
so
about to go in. At the end of that last game, he was like, "No, I'm making every shot. I don't care how it's shot. It's going in.
Yeah.
What y'all gonna do?"
None of his stuff looks good. None of it looks graceful. But for whatever reason, it's accurate, and that's all that matters in basketball. So
only white NBA basketball player I fucks with is the professor from and
the
one.
professor, yo.
Man, my dad was like when I was a kid, my dad was all about Pistol Pete, and he was like,
oh, he was one of those dads, huh?
Yeah, that was my dad.
Yeah. Oh man, but yo, That Denver Warriors series was very good. I was scared for you guys when Steph started cooking at the end of that last game and he hit that three. I was like, oh man, it might be over for these guys, but they managed to pull it out. But then Steph came back like, nah, y'all playing with me. Let me get y'all to go to sleep.
No,
get out of
here. Do not play with me. Don't let me run around this court, dude. I'm gonna make a shot.
Why did Steph Curry hit him with the go to sleep? He hit that three and then just turned to the camera and went.
Nah. I heard Punk is cooking again. Let me get y'all out of here.
Yeah, no, for real. Yep. He's like, this is on TNT. I know AEW. Don't worry about this, man. You didn't have to do him like that, though, Steph. Come on, we still got some games to win, baby.
Nah, I love it. I love nothing more than cocky Steph because people be talking about him crazy. So I love when he goes crazy and he gets in the camera like, nah, stop playing with my name.
Yes. Yeah. Keep doing it.
But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like all them playing games was a waste of time because all the higher seeds won. Yeah. So
I mean, they were fun basketball games.
They were fun basketball games.
Basketball games.
Yeah, it was. But at the end of the day,
the thing that Ja Morant's doing, that dunk from the other day, jeez,
Ja is out here, man.
How do you jump that high?
If it's legit, just like 1-2s that make it to the finals. I mean, expected, but also, I mean, I guess that's not good for the Warriors. Like, for example, with it all being top, like the Warriors now are bottom seed in this next round. So
they not gonna be, boy. It's gonna be game time out here. Let's go.
Man. Who Warriors got next round?
Grizzlies, right?
They got Big Ja, huh? Yeah. 12's gonna be a problem, man. But
12's, how do you jump that high? He's gonna be he's so fast and just like he'll run through the court in like 1 second, bro. It's crazy. It's gonna be great. Bunch of more great games, man. It's a lot of great basketball.
I love basketball.
The Suns, fucking CP3. I mean, he at the end is where we worried about, but bro's cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, Brooklyn fans, but, maybe, just maybe, certain somebody should have played more games during the regular season and, maybe they would have gelled by the time the playoffs
Built
came.
a little chemistry or something, get to know your
teammates. I don't know. Maybe you guys shouldn't have bid on that Harden trade and just kept the team you had because that really didn't work out.
No,
not at all.
Ben Simmons.
Oh, Ben Simmons, my bro.
Nah, man, the jokes were flying on Twitter too. They were like, cooked. Ben Simmons ready to play for Game 5 was my favorite one. But, folks, got some other stuff. Yes. Let me read a few more of these super duper chats. We got Van Twin Blade says, never care about anyone in WWE till they'll just get fired. I have some things, though, in a second. Deontay says, my boys, glad to see y'all. May I please ask for prayers for my G-Ma? Of course. Just had mouth surgery. She's recovering. Wishing all y'all love and Mo paychecks.
Love out to your grams, for sure. That's surgery, man. It's tough.
Yeah. Let's see. We've got Eloquent says WWE didn't deserve Stokely or Dakota. Anyways, hope y'all good. Also, that Blackpool Combat Club joint knocks Reg.
Oh, shout out to Eloquent. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. It's me rapping. I'll be going for it. And shout out to Eloquent. He's a dope beat maker. As always, go to Eloquent's Bandcamp and cop you something, bro. But yeah, we're gonna get into the beginning of that because there's a lot.
I am La Lucha says, here to show some love to the Grapsody family. Love hanging with y'all, rolling a J and talking wrestling. Y'all feel like family. Thanks for that.
It's the best way to spend your Saturday morning, honestly.
It is.
Recommend 10 out of 10 would recommend.
So, speaking of things that I would recommend, you know what I picked up this week? I mentioned it last week, but I finally got to play it. I spent the last week playing WWE 2K22.
Oh, somebody cleaned their room.
Yes. My son, it was like pulling teeth, and he likes to act so helpless sometimes. He'll be like, I don't know how. I need help. And I'm like, man.
That's the oldest trick in the book.
Kids
Billy,
are
come on. Man. Yeah, I love it.
Kids are hilarious.
I love it.
But,
Mom, show me how to do this. Like, I don't know how to use this mop over here. I don't know how. Yeah, it's classic. It's classic.
I will give the game props. Simplified controls have been kind of the game with WWE.
When's the last WWE game you played before this one?
Which one had Seth Rollins on the cover? Was that 2K18?
Yeah, 18, I think. That was the last one we played. So it's been a couple years.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
And I also just won that one in a in a radio contest. I was just listening to the radio.
Radio?
They were like, be caller 17 and win a free copy of WWE 2K17 or 2K18. I'm like, okay. And I called. And they were like, you're caller 15. Call back. And I was like, okay. And call back. Caller 17. You won WWE 2K18. I was like, all right, cool. And that's the last one I had played. Didn't bother with 2K19. Definitely didn't bother with 20.
Is 19 the one with AJ on the front?
Yeah,
that's the last one I played. Is the one with
Yeah,
AJ.
that's the last one I played.
Yeah. And then 20 didn't bother with. And so, yeah, 21 is the 22, I mean. This is the first one I played in a long time.
I don't think there was a 21, right?
No,
right, there wasn't
they took
21.
that year off.
Yeah. So this is the first one I played in a long time. Yeah, it's actually pretty great. I mean, the roster is dated as hell, but at the same time, like, Billy has been playing he's won the tag titles on his profile with, like, every set of tag titles with Keith Lee and Swerve. And that's his go-to.
Let's go. Yeah, that's awesome.
So like,
I'm definitely picking Swerve when I get that game. So
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it's Keith Lee and Swerve. You could play as both there. Yeah, hella dated roster, but it's kind of to your benefit in a few ways. Community creations are fun. But yeah, I really love the simplified controls. I hate that a genre like sports games in general have gotten so complicated when they're supposed to be kind of the pickup genre for everybody, right? Like Madden was so simple back in the day that everybody played it, but somehow, some way over the years, Madden got so complicated that now it truly is like the hardcore players game, when it was kind of supposed to be the opposite. It was supposed to be the game you could play with your dad. And like 2K, same way.
Plug
2K,
and play.
Yeah, 2K got really complicated over time to where some of these motherfuckers are so good at, and I'm talking about NBA 2K. I forget, like, if I'm talking to anybody not a wrestling fan, I just say 2K and they know I'm talking about NBA. But it's like,
that's 2K is basketball.
Yeah, if you're talking to anybody not a wrestling fan, you say 2K, they know you're talking about basketball. But I forget.
Oh my god, you talk about the most abusive relationship in my life at the moment is 2K. I buy it every year, and every year I'm like, this is terrible. I'm not going to buy it again, and I'll end up buying it again as soon as it goes on sale, and I'll have the same complaints about the game the next year. It happens every year.
Phil's not the only one. Every single 2K fan feels exactly this way. It happens every year. They're like, I hate this game. I'm not going to buy it, but then it comes out and they write to the store.
You're sitting there playing it for like hours every night. Like, I hate this game so much, and you're still playing it. It's the most abusive relationship I'm in.
Perfect. But like I said, it's one of those games that like overcomplicated itself over time, and it's like definitely just not a pick up and play kind of game.
It's not. I tried to play 2K and I'm like, yo, this is hard, you guys. There's like mini games in the minute, and it's like, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. And whereas, I guess shout out to WWE 2K that they really like simplified the shit out of it. It is back to just a straight up like kind of grappling system of it is B to grapple, A for a hard attack, X for small attack, Y for reversals. That's it. And nothing else is terribly complicated. You can make the matches flow. It is like, I have to give 2K credit in how they make matches flow like real life matches, and how like if you pick Brock Lesnar as your opponent, that motherfucker's just gonna suplex city you for the whole match and beat you, and that's it. He's just gonna sit there and do the same exact moves over and over till he's built up enough for an F5 and then F5 you, and that's a match with Brock Lesnar. Yeah. So,
I want to check it out. Somebody send me a copy, you guys. I want this WWE or somebody, 2K. It's Righteous Reg. It's me. It's Media Man. You know I'm going to talk about your game. Fucking send it to me. Just like Impact needs to send that check. And your numbers are up, and it's because of your boy Righteous Reg putting in work to put over your little Impact Wrestling show that people can't even find, and I'm helping them find it.
Come on, man. All right. Pretty good pay-per-view over the weekend. I won't complain too much.
Definitely. We're going to talk about that a little bit, too.
2K
looks great, and most people have talked very positively about it, so that's
it's got its glitches here and there, but for the most part, like, it's playable, and it's fun, and I'm having fun with it,
It's still the same. It's still the same engine, right? That they've always
like it's
had.
crazy
just
that they've been
upgraded
building on the original SmackDown since
for so long.
since 2000. And that game was technically supposed to come out in '99, but got delayed a couple months. But that game, they've been building on. And the funny thing about that game was that was not a like flagship wrestling title at the time. Like, and when I say that, I mean, I guess for those not aware, like back in the old days of console wrestling games, they were all built off of Japanese wrestling titles. Right. Like No Mercy was built off of the Virtual Pro Wrestling games for Nintendo 64 in Japan, and then they basically it was just reskinned when they were brought to the States. No Mercy's a little more original, but like WrestleMania 2000 Revenge, those are literally just Virtual Pro Wrestling reskinned.
Right.
And the SmackDown games were that as well, but like SmackDown 1 wasn't built off of like a flagship wrestling title. It was like some bargain bin game that THQ just like bought and reskinned into SmackDown. But it wasn't anything that like people loved in Japan at all.
Right.
And so what's crazy is that they've continued to build upon that game with all of them titles for the last 20 years. And here we are now with WWE 2K22 still having been built off of that original SmackDown game.
So I kind of have a question about the new one in all wrestling games. The issue that I have with wrestling games is they make them in they're fighting games, and wrestling is not a fighting game. It's like it's not who could beat up the person the fastest. It's like how do we put together a great match even on a wrestling game? Is it more like that in this thing,
so
or is
you
it
know
just
you
like
have
the faster to their finisher, it's over? That's so boring.
well, so it does have you get to execute one time per match your comeback move. So if your health is deteriorated, you can hit your comeback move. Like if you're John Cena and you do the the right trigger and Y, then that executes the 5 moves of doom. Which no matter where he is health wise, if you execute that, that'll like replenish his health and like start him back over.
Okay,
so
I
it
see.
does flow like an actual match in that
Gotcha.
sense. If you do successfully execute your comeback move, that will replenish you and basically set you back at square one. Like any other match would. Sorry, I just got a notification on my phone. So, and like most of the wrestlers have those, and that does help it flow like a real match. Because if you're not able to hit that, then yeah, you should get your ass beat, and then it is like first one to finisher, and then you're done.
right.
And that's it.
That's what's up.
And then it like the submission system like is a very tug of war kind of thing where if somebody locks you in a submission, it'll be like tap X. And both of you have to tap X, and who's tapping X the fastest. But then it'll switch midway through to like tap A the fastest, and then tap B. So you got to be paying attention to what buttons it's telling you to push. And so I like it though. It's like I said, it's very playable, and I do feel like the matches do flow like actual matches, and that's very cool. It's very much a simulation. They like really worked on the entrances and all that jazz. Bianca's hair still looks like shit, and I don't know how wrestling games have not gotten hair right.
They just haven't.
And especially for a character who like revolves so much around her hair, and like as she's twirling it, it's like not even in her hand, and it's just like all over the place. It looks awful. There's still things to work on. There's still things to work on there. Wrestling games have not gotten hair right. Like I saw a friend of mine, BC, he had tweeted about how I would honestly prefer hair just be stiff than this bullshit of like looking like strands of paper. Like, and I kind of agree with that. Like if you can't get it right as far as movement is concerned, just like don't do it. Just leave it alone.
Right. I agree.
Let's see. Got a few more of the super chats. Orion Ben 666 says last night was the Grapsody Invitational Part 2. Outside of a certain someone not getting a lick of offense in, said Trish should have gotten a press slam. It was great. All the love to Stokely, Persia, and Evie. Yeah, we got to get back to the original names.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that trios match. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer, but it was fun for what it was.
I thought
Yeah,
so too.
like Willow didn't tag in at all. But she also worked Elevation earlier in the night. And so I was actually shocked to see her name there twice, having worked that show twice.
Right.
And so I wonder if they were just like out of people. And it was like, all right, we got to do the 6-woman tag. And Willow, no, you worked earlier. just kind of stand there on the apron.
I think it's just more of her name value. She has.
She does have the name value. In
there. We all got excited to see when we heard the match graphic. So
Yeah.
Listen, I said this when they first started doing the baddie stuff, and they collectively jumped Marina Shafir. I was like, I like the three of them together. And immediately I thought about it. I was like, man, if you're going to put this trio against Cosmic Angels, I would love it. Like, come on, Cosmic Angels coming out doing their dance routine, and then, the baddies doing their entrance. It would be cool.
And the entrance is so great. Like, I already think Jade has the best pyro in AEW. But then, like, on top of that, for them to now have a synchronized pose, and the best synchronized pose we could possibly ask for. And
they all fine. Don't forget.
Yeah, and they're all fine. And on top of that, like, I saw somebody say on Twitter that if they got matching gear, it's over for everybody.
Yeah, it's done.
Listen, I said it last week. They start throwing up that one. I don't want to hear no more from those other guys.
Seriously. No, y'all are not the ones. They are the ones. The baddies are the ones. No. Come on.
And their name is the Baddies. Like, Justin Roberts actually said it. He said, the Baddies. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
I mean, you can't help it. It probably wasn't even the script. He was just like, yo, there's 3 bad ones out here, y'all. Y'all see this? He's like, did you see Red Velvet? She is fine, bro. But no, Jade Cargill is like, my eyes hurt when I look at her. She's so fine. Jesus Christ.
Matt says, happy Saturday, Will, Phil, and Reg. I'll be at Dynamite this week, first one in 8 months, and get to see Deanna versus Mercedes.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Excited for that. It's going to be a good match. Rematch.
I wonder which other one you attended then. You said first one in 8 months. 8 months ago would have been September. Did you go to...
How do you have this in your brain?
I mean, so what? If was a Grand Slam was what you went to is what I'm guessing, Matt. Because this one's in Baltimore, and so I'm thinking like, okay, Northeast. So
Baltimore.
What would you have attended?
I wonder if our homie Drew's gonna be out there this Wednesday.
I don't know.
They got an action-packed show. I mean, it seems like every Dynamite now is action-packed. So just Wednesday.
Yeah, and they've been holding on. So what else is there? We've got. Did I read that one? I read that one. Sorry, trying to see which ones I read and didn't read. We got Nathan says, Phil, what did you think? Levine's comments at the end. I am worried he's not coming back.
So I've been preparing myself for this all year. He has been playing kind of coy with this all year. I knew he was going to test free agency. He wants a max deal. I don't think the Bulls want to give him a max deal. Every time I talk to my dad about it, he's just like, Levine's gone. Just get ready for it. He's gone. Because they're not going to give him the max contract. That's kind of a Bulls staple. It's like if somebody plays well and they want money, the Bulls usually don't give them the money because it's a cheap organization. Fam, they didn't want to pay Michael Jordan. They didn't want to pay Scottie Pippen. So what makes you think they're going to pay light skinned fam over there?
That's all you have to say. They didn't want to pay Michael Jordan. So yeah, there you go.
Easily one of the most underpaid athletes ever. I know that sounds crazy, but if you look at his contracts compared to what contracts are today, it's ludicrous. But no, I don't know what to make of it. I would like Levine to come back. Do I think he's replaceable? Absolutely, I think it's replaceable. But
with how many superstars are in the NBA now?
I mean, but when you think about the season the Bulls had versus versus the last since that one season where Derrick Rose had a good year,
2011.
Yeah, 2011. I don't know. I feel
this was a great season for us. I hate that it ended on such a sour note because they came back home and lost 2 in a row, which was disgusting to watch. But still, they had a good season. I just think with Levine, I don't think that Levine is a center point for the team. I feel like with the other 3 guys and Ball and DeRozan and Vooch, I think you can bring in another guard to replace
to
Levine.
help them. Definitely, I agree. Tough squad.
Carlos says, this is a Grayson Allen hate account.
Listen, man, he was looking a little too saucy when he was hitting those
I'm
threes on us,
saying,
man.
bro,
I wasn't
come
feeling
on,
that, man. I wasn't feeling it, man.
What's up with you, Grayson? That's what they should have been saying to him.
It immediately made me think of the Dougie McBucket's draft pick too, and that did not pan out at all for us. I'm just like, you.
Kate says, please pray for people that have to cover NXT without Bivens or Kai. They'll be diamond fine. Love you
see what
guys.
you did there, Kate. Thanks, Kate. They'll be diamond fine.
She's here all week.
Yes.
Let's see. Phantom FTW says that starter match of AZM versus Mei Saruga was fire.
I haven't seen it, but guys, stop paying attention to Disco Guy, please. He's a joke. He does this for engagements. Like,
I mean, the thing is, he's serious, but also like, terribly misinformed. Like the thing is, I actually have listened to Disco's commentary on shit, and it is crazy. Like if you listen to it as a whole, like people usually listen to like isolated statements from him. But if you listen to him as a whole, he is like horribly misinformed about a lot of shit, and like almost unapologetically so. Like he'll do his podcast and be like, well, I didn't even see if. What are the crowds even doing? Did they even have a full crowd this week? And like, it'll be on a show where they had
sold out.
Yeah, it'll be on a show that's like sold out, right? But like, he will simply take like a comment that's like in their chat or some shit and just like take it as gospel and just move on. And like, it is amazing how I don't know. He didn't actually say
like,
this,
that
but
was almost a little bit Kermit. I don't know if that was Kermit or Disco Inferno, but
the Disco Inferno is
fine.
I mean, Disco Inferno is literally just you do Kermit and Ray Romano and you combine them together.
Yo, no. So yeah, stop listening.
I give a lot of thought to wrestling impersonations because like one thing I have to call out Sean Ross Sapp for is his AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy impersonations and how they're the same because those shouldn't be.
Right.
They're very similar, but the thing about it is that like when Jeff Hardy talks, he talks on an incline. But when AJ Styles talks, he talks on a decline, and like those are the like there's a difference there. There is definitely.
Oh my god! I love that we called out SRS on here. First of all,
there's
get
nuance.
your impersonations up, SRS.
Yes, you gotta have the decline on the AJ Styles talk.
That is so silly.
Let's see. Fact Channel says Samoa Joe should join the baddies.
You're being weird. Oh yeah, I wanted to say really quick while we're talking about great matches: Ninja Mac, Alpha Wolf, Dragon Bane from Noah is insane. Best match that I've seen this week. Best match that I've seen in a long time. If you like flips, if you like wrestling that doesn't have a fucking story, it's just three guys that are awesome at wrestling, all flipping and doing cool shit. That's the story. They told me the story with the fucking match. This is the match for you. Three-way dance in Noah. It happened like 2 nights ago. Incredible. I watched it yesterday morning and I loved it. Amazing. The story. What about the story?
Mets Fan for Life says, my kid's been telling me game controls ain't harder than I'm just old. Thanks for validating me, Will. Hey, we could just be old, though, is the
also,
thing.
yeah.
Nah, man. I played 2K for a long time. They progressively make the defense harder and harder every year. No. We're not just old. They just make the games harder.
It's because like when Will was talking about the Madden games, it's because Madden fans are like, we need it to be every year. They're like, make it harder, do this, add all these things. So they have to appease by these people that are gonna yell at them every week. So I get it.
Red Velvet versus Unagi Sayaka. Am I pronouncing that right? Would be awesome.
I'd be here for it, man. Again.
I want to see more of like I know COVID and the pandemic is stopping a lot of that, but more of like excursions like it used to be back in the day. They'd send someone like Red Velvet to Japan, to Starbin, to something like that and let them go. And then they come back and they're seasoned in a couple different forms of wrestling. But I know COVID makes it hard, but I really like to see wrestling go back to that.
Didn't I just read that AEW requested somebody from
Yuka Sakazaki?
They did. I would be very excited to see Yuka again.
Yeah, it seems like they're doing it in reverse. Like they're bringing wrestlers from Japan, but I like to see them send some wrestlers over here to over there.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, the one of the things that I thought was hilarious around the Forbidden Door talk was people acting like, oh man, they're not gonna have anything for women to do. This promotion brought in Joshi wrestlers from the beginning. You don't think they're gonna do anything with the women on this show? You don't think they're gonna bring in any kind of Joshi wrestlers, even if they don't do Stardom? They're not gonna do anything with the women.
From
you
the
really
sounds
think that?
of it, it might be like they're gonna. I feel like they could be like a big women's show eventually with the
They
Stardom.
should.
And like because it sounds like everyone wants to work together, and I don't think Forbidden Door is gonna be when it happens. But I think in the future we could get a big show with all the women that's just by themselves.
It should happen.
But also,
They're
I
due.
think that because like also the outrage over that is kind of weird because I feel like you have to kind of have no understanding of how Japanese wrestling works.
Yes.
To like if.
Are you saying that
see-
people just get on the internet and say anything? They don't know what they're
like,
talking about?
Like if you
No
were
research.
like it'd be one thing if you were taking that issue up as a whole, right?
Yes.
If you're like, hey, New Japan Pro Wrestling doesn't have women's wrestling, and it doesn't because
They don't.
Because Stardom and New Japan under the same company, are under the same parent company. If you were taking up that issue as a whole, that's one thing. But if somebody is doing a New Japan show and the issue you're taking up with it now is well, will there be women on the show? I feel like you're doing that knowing what the answer to that is likely to be as far as New Japan's representation is concerned, because you know that it's going to be one-sided. So
Some nasty takes came out of that.
yeah,
Very
Disgusting.
nasty takes.
Van Twinblade. So y'all see that ad for Maki and Yim in Portland?
I did.
didn't.
I
I
did.
It's
see
didn't
that.
gonna be
see that.
fire. Prestige Wrestling is doing some great things out in Portland. They're putting together a couple of super cards. I think that one's coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's gonna be
Listen.
amazing. They have a lot of great cards going on. Prestige Wrestling.
I cannot wait to see Maki come back to AEW. I really wanted her to challenge Thunder Rosa for the title. They have history together. I think it would be great.
We've got Ralph Berry. It says, "What's good, y'all? Battle Slam Vendetta last weekend was on point. The men's battle 4-way was the match of the night. Also, Lee Johnson was giving me big Cody vibes all match. Big props to y'all. I mean, he's
Trained by him.
Looking forward to them putting that whenever they announce it's going online. It sounds like they're doing it soon. It looked like people
Barron
had
said
fun
it
at
should
that
be-
show.
Barron said it should be coming within the next week or so. So I hope
Yeah.
that's coming out soon. But yeah, I saw a couple videos. Pastor Troy was out there. It was lit. He was rapping in the ring. Everybody. It looked like a really fun show.
It looked cool, man. I saw Suge and the homie in the crowd singing along to Pastor Troy.
Yeah,
Looked fun.
it looks so much fun.
shout out Life of Deem says these impersonations are hilarious.
Will's a
Thank
damn
you.
fool, man. On a
Wrestle Voice-
decline.
Rest of Voice says, finally catching you guys live again. I've been grinding, but want to show support to the best podcast, period. So,
Them ones.
am I the only one that thinks Willow eats up the screen when she is on it?
Yes,
I mean,
she's number
she
one.
is. Yeah, no, the first time I had truly heard that was on this show when Righteous Reg himself talked up Willow, talked about how much of a just lovable baby face she is.
We haven't even seen her get into we haven't seen her in a long match on AEW where
This
she
ain't even her
really
final form, bro.
Yeah, exactly. where she really gets into it and you really see it. But in these little moments, you see that she's a big star. They just have to execute, baby.
Wrestle Voice says, go ahead and give me I'm gonna butcher that too.
Shuri.
Shuri. Okay.
Shuri.
Versus
Did-
Thunder and Deeb.
Hold on, though. Did you guys see who Shuri said she wants to wrestle before she retires?
Who's she say?
She wants the Oscar match.
Oh,
Somebody needs to make that happen.
come on, Oscar.
And finally, just to be caught up on these, but we still want your super chats coming through. Lee J. Robinson says, yep, the 2K games got me hooked like a sucker too. I keep buying them, then seeing it for free on PSN later. I love your show, Kate. That, I mean, you kind of got to get that out of your brain because, like, every month there's going to be free games on
Exactly.
PSN.
It's like the student loan argument. I paid my student loan already, so everybody else should have to. No, if you paid your student loans and they say no more student loans, we're good after that. Like, you shouldn't be mad that
And
you
then
already paid your
everybody's taken care
student
of.
loans.
Look, and I have the perfect household to represent that. I paid off my student loans in 2019. And I was so happy to have been able to say I paid those off. My wife's got a long time to go on hers. Look, there's no way in hell I would be mad. If her student loans got wiped out, I wouldn't look at her and go, well, I had to pay mine off. I would go, damn, we ain't got student loans no more.
Exactly. No more student loans. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, so...
I don't get it. But those are those people that say those type of things.
What is this comment? Shingo is a big fan of Willow's thighs. What?
I think because I know that Shingo does the Japanese commentary for AEW on New Japan World, so he possibly could have said something on
You have to say, wait a minute.
Shingo is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and to find out that he's in the BBWs put him in top 5. Honestly.
People have been
can't wait to see if he's on their Forbidden Door card.
I haven't got to see
Shingo has to be on there, honestly.
I haven't gotten to I've seen some clips and I've seen some of the translations of the commentary, and it sounded great.
It sounds like he's having a great time, honestly. Yeah, I want to see Shingo against Pac, maybe. I mean, if we're doing one, the thing is, are they going to be doing one-on-ones? They have so many guys, but
there's got to be
great
some
potential matches. You know?
Like the thing about New Japan is they're really good at multi-man tag matches.
Yeah,
and so if that ends up happening here, it's actually the perfect scenario for it. It's like a New Japan.
And AEW
specialty.
kills it with the multi-man matches too, so it's going to be fire.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk. We'll start with number 5. Ember Moon did an interview with the homie Chris Van Vliet.
Shout out to Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff dropped in that interview. Unfortunately, people didn't watch the whole thing or even read the whole thing. They just saw one clip and got stuck on that and didn't even watch the whole clip, because at the end of the clip she kind of even gives Mandy Rose her props, but people were tagging Mandy Rose.
Bro, it's not about Mandy Rose.
I know, right? It wasn't nothing she was saying that was about Mandy Rose. But for those not in the know about what happened here, Ember Moon did an interview. She talked about her time in WWE. She talked a lot about, and she got very emotional in it. I watched the whole thing. She talked about her last run in NXT, what that was supposed to be, what it ended up being. And she talked about the future. There was a lot of stuff in that interview. She got really emotional. Chris Van Vliet is really good about, I think he's one of the best at simply asking simple questions and then taking a step back. And
that's why he gets all the big interviews, because he's great, honestly.
He's great at it.
He is one of the best interviewers in the whole world, man. A phenomenal talent. He gets the questions that you want to hear, and then just like you said, he lets us hear the answer instead of. I'm used to Drink Champs and Nori, and Nori will be like some crazy great hip hop question, and then when they're getting into it, he just stops them, and he's like, I'm trying to hear the rest of the story.
Nori will ask a question and then start trying to answer the question for them before they answer. I'm like, Nori, calm down.
Let me hear Nori. But Chris Van Vliet,
and everybody's got a
different.
And everybody's got a different interview style, because I like to have conversations. I like to be back and forth. But what I love about Chris is he's so good at just kind of like leading the topic and then giving the floor and letting them spill. And he's really good at that. I love it. And she had a lot to say. A lot of what she talked about was a thing that I think
fishnet booty butt cheeks.
We are booty butt cheeks twice. But she had. She talked about something that I think I was trying to tell people for a long time, because I knew people in NXT. Like, this wasn't a thing where I was just talking out of my ass 2 years ago. But when people were like, hey, so-and-so should go to NXT and stay in NXT, nobody was trying to stay in NXT. I know that was a thing that, like, Ciampa was saying and all of that. But, like, nobody was trying to stay in NXT because, one, there ain't no money in NXT.
No money. Money.
There's no money. And 2, nobody wants to work the same fans every week. Like, ultimately, you want to be able to tour, to meet new people, to see, because there's also a very big litmus test to how over somebody is, right? To like, it's hard to. In the same way that somebody could be over in their hometown, but not necessarily over in the next city.
Or
You
their
know,
home
it's hard
promotion.
to
It's really hard to tell.
It's hard to test that with NXT, right? Because you're working the same fans, and you could say like, "Oh, this person's over in NXT," but as soon as they jump to the main roster, they're not. And like that's the thing that people wanted. Like NXT was always seen by the talent as this is my launch pad to the main roster. Everybody saw it that way. And Ember Moon, she went back to NXT back in 2020, and she had talked about how what she was told was you're going to go down there for about a year at most. You're going to retool the character, come back to the main roster. That's what she was under the impression of. That's what most people are under the impression of when they go back to NXT, is that this is temporary until I am ready to be back on the main roster. Because something might not be clicking on the main roster. And NXT is a good place to test that out. It's always been. And I'm not just talking about 2.0. I'm talking about NXT as a whole.
Right.
And so I said all that to say that with her, it was the same case where she wanted to kind of fix up her character. She wanted to try some new things, get it tested in NXT, come back to the main roster, get back to touring with the main roster and doing what you signed with WWE to do. Promise you, nobody signs under the idea of, oh yeah, I'm gonna just stay in this Florida territory for the rest of my career.
Right.
Nobody wants to do that. And so some of the things she talked about in the interview was kind of how she got jerked around a little bit. That she was told, okay, you're gonna get to turn heel here, and because that's really what she wanted to do. So she had proposed a losing streak, that she wanted to lose a bunch, and that would kind of fire up her character to get angry and then eventually turn. And
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because I just remembered the last time we saw Ember was when she did that horrible table flip and walked out the door.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Damn.
It was so unintentionally funny.
Yeah. But she talked about how she was gonna have the loss with Cora Jade, and then they had told her like almost last minute, actually we're gonna delay this a little bit, and then she was told that she got a directive straight from Vince McMahon that said actually he wants your old look back, dye your hair back the way it was, put the contacts back in. We're gonna go back to that, and then she was basically iced after that. She was told like actually we're gonna pull you from TV indefinitely, but we want you to have a coaching position in the Performance Center. And she was like, wait, what?
I love what she said about that too. She said a bunch of essentially athletes and stuff that don't care about wrestling, why are they going to care if I'm in there coaching them? That doesn't make any sense. And I agree.
And you know, you have to imagine that as a wrestler, right? Yeah. Like as WWE has publicly said, they're moving into this new avenue of bringing in more non-wrestlers and trying to kind of training them into being pro wrestlers, which again, I said months ago, that's not necessarily a bad thing. No. Because we've seen that work out with plenty of people.
Bianca Belair.
But I can see if you're a wrestler who has spent their life wrestling, and you're being told now, we don't want to use you, we want to use you to train these people that weren't really passionate about the business. There's absolute grounds to be furious about that and to feel like, you know what, I don't want to do this. And she said she straight up told him, cancel my flights. I'm not coming down to Orlando if that's all you have for me is to come train.
Yeah, I love the energy too. It was basically like, nah, tell me what you have for me first, and I'll okay it. Then I'll say if I'm coming back. Yeah, and I was like, listen, you guys know this because, of course, we talk outside of the timeline, and I've been kind of like simmering and shaking like Roger Rabbit behind that speakeasy, just waiting to say something because I've just seen a lot of talk this week, and I just didn't agree with it. So, state of women's wrestling. We have been watching people make AEW's women's division out to be the worst women's division in the world. And trying to collectively make NXT 2.0 into this bastion of great women's wrestling and this place where women's wrestling is used effectively. And it's just cap. I'm sorry, it's cap. It's great that they had 24 women on this week, but that is a misleading stat. Just
24 women, Phil.
Just putting women on television is the bare minimum, folks. Using them effectively, putting them in good matches that are memorable, that gets people wanting to see more of them, that's an effective use of women's wrestling. When you tell me...
That's an effective use of wrestling, by the way.
Yeah.
That we have, I guess, qualifiers around women's wrestling, and that's like the only place that exists. I had that conversation with somebody on Twitter literally this week because I had pointed out that there were no women's matches on Smackdown last week. And there were 4 last night, but last week there were none. And I pointed that out, but they said, but there's plenty of women's segments. And I was like, that's a conversation that literally only applies to women's wrestling. Like, if you had said that, well, hey, there were no men's matches, but there were men's segments, people would have asked for refunds. Like, you wouldn't get away with that anyplace else. No. That only with women's wrestling are people willing to say that they're okay with not having matches, as long as they're featured. You wouldn't say that with men's wrestling at all. No. So, I don't know. That's and I'm not saying that. By the way, I'm not saying any of this as a defense of AEW's women's division. I do think there's a lot of work to be done.
Right. It's a
lot. I just think that you don't have to speak on everything as a comparison. That in general, you can have issues with one thing and also have issues with the other. So it's and SmackDown is also doing this thing where they're disguising short matches as a plot device with this stop the clock challenge, and I've been on to it for a while. That main event was trash last night. I don't care. It was garbage. So I've also noticed this thing where people are like, oh, well, it's working because they're getting more women on TV. But at the same time, we've seen now that this is the third woman that basically said, nah, I don't like what they're doing. I want to go home. You had it happen with Tony. You now basically have proof that it happened with Athena. And we're basically hearing Dakota said the same thing. No, I'm not renewing to you. So I do have a question, by the way, because I somehow missed something along the way. I've seen a lot of people saying, and I need some help with this. I've seen a lot of people saying that that Ember Athena basically confirmed what Nixon said, and I thought I completely missed what Nixon said. Please.
Oh, okay. So the Tegan thing a few months ago. I don't remember. Sorry, I don't remember the date. But
I tried to look it up. I was like, okay, Tegan Knox interview. I was like trying to.
Yeah, and I actually reposted the article where where they took the excerpts. So after she got released, she did this interview where she was like, oh, she had COVID, and then they asked her about things like why she thought she got released, and she was just like, I just don't think that I was what they were looking for, and she felt like. Particularly NXT, I think, was moving more back to the Divas era stuff. And that's why she didn't fit. And people got so mad at her because it's like, that's not the Divas era. The matches aren't short. It's not this. I don't think that's what she meant, guys. And I saw this even when
I finally found it. Once you started saying that, I started Googling phrases that she might have said. And is it this line where she said, I'm a 5'6" blonde brunette girl. Covered in tattoos. Watching the product now, it's very much diva era, going back to it, I always feel like I was on the chopping block, even if I could wrestle.
Okay, so let's get into that. Because I've seen several people go, but there are tattooed women on the roster, and there are people that look like Tegan. That's not an excuse. She's injury prone. That's why she got let go. That's not true. If you look at what particularly they wanted on NXT, that's what she's talking about. She doesn't fit what they wanted there. And if you look at how she was presented on NXT, how they did that little charging thing for weeks, and then she finally came out, did the beatdown thing, and then disappeared from NXT, exactly like the Athena thing, by the way, where they told her the plan was she's going to come back repackaged, and then they were like, nah, never mind, we don't need you. The exact same thing. No, there's a correlation here. And the Divas era stuff, I think people are nitpicking at her point and going, hey, it's not just short matches. hey, they're not just using models, they're using athletes too. But it's clear that they're using athletes with a specific
It's clear what
aesthetic.
they're doing.
Are you seriously going to tell me they're not doing the Nikita Lyons stuff for eye candy? Are you seriously going to tell me the toxic attraction stuff is not eye candy?
Remember that commercial from a couple of months ago? With
Yes.
It was just lips. It's like, what? What is this?
I mean, like the lines that they're feeding Wade Barrett right now. The timeline is thirsty. Like,
Yeah.
all of that.
yeah. Right.
Yo, why did you all of a sudden become like a Foster's commercial there?
I don't fucking know. My Australian and
So no, but yeah,
I'm
people
trying
got
to say.
so mad at Tegan and it's like she's stupid. It's not the Divas era. No, I felt there was a reason she said that, and so when Athena said that there was this 2-hour meeting where they were told how to dress, that's why she said that. They're getting directives and edicts directly from the company, and that's why she felt that way. And I'm sure she's not the only one. Again, if you see the pattern here that there are 3 women that have left the company that are basically like, nah, I'm not feeling this. There's a pattern here, man. And again, this is on the heels of this Becky comment as well. And don't knock it, Becky. Becky said what anybody would say that is on top. Of course, she's going to say our women's division is the best because she's sitting at the top of it. But for my opinion, AEW's women's division has problems. WWE's definitely has problems as well. There is no perfect women's division in the U.S. I feel like Impact does good things with women, but they have their issues as well. And I just feel like people have to stop doing this comparison and going, no, this is the best women's division in the U.S.
I don't like this other one, so the one I like is perfect. Like that's
people have to do it. Stop doing it because it's just cap, man. It's just not. It's just not true.
The thing I want to see people stop doing more than anything else, and Swole commented on this last week, is stop dismissing people's experiences. You're not in those locker rooms. You don't know. Like, you have to stop doing that. And it was the same thing with Swole, right? Like, when we talked about Swole, no matter what anybody could say about any of that, the fact was, as I said back in January, that's her experience. We're not going to dismiss her experience because at the end of the day, no one can dismiss her experience. That's her experience. That's what she felt. And I do feel like I saw people who were very much on Swole's side of her points, then turning around and dismissing what Ember had to say.
Yeah, it was nasty.
And the thing is, like, and Swole herself said very much, don't dismiss these women's experience. These are our experiences. This is just because it's a show you like, you can't necessarily jump up and be like, well, I didn't see that, even though I'm just watching it. So therefore, what you're saying is invalid, because it's not true. You can't say that because you're not in that locker room. You don't know what's happening there.
And I've seen people saying more than once that I think that Athena is exaggerating. I think Tegan's stupid, or other things I've seen people say. Guys, you don't know what they're being told behind the scenes and why they feel that way. I'm not totally saying that I agree with the Divas era take. I can see why she's saying that, but I always felt like she wouldn't have just said that for no reason. She wouldn't have just made that correlation like that for no reason. And I don't think this is a knock at Mandy. Look, Mandy is great at what she's doing. She's fantastic. She's very beautiful. If she's doing it on her own and she's good at doing the eye candy stuff, that's great. But asking your entire women's division to do that based on what's successful for her is not a good idea. Just think about what NXT's women's division was before. Think about if they asked Bayley and all these other great women's wrestlers to do that. We wouldn't have got the runs that they got.
Yeah.
So and all these people that are, every time somebody
keep
praises,
on cooking, Phil. Let them know.
Anytime somebody praises the Knockouts division, people do this thing. Well, oh, you guys like Knockouts division? Y'all are stupid. Y'all don't know. The Knockouts division is good. You can say that it can be better without completely hating on the Knockouts division. You could also do the same thing with Stardom. Just because some people say Stardom is the best women's wrestling, that doesn't mean you turn around and decide I hate Stardom and have never watched Stardom.
Right.
Stop it. Cut it out, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's the competitive nature of fandoms in general. And I wasn't even gonna say wrestling fans because, like, it's just fandoms.
But yeah, I've heard a lot of takes today or this week, this month, this year about women's wrestling. There's never been 1 year in at least 35 years that American women's wrestling has been better than Japanese women's wrestling. So like that's where the bar is. Like you try to you go from there. Beginning with All Japan Women's Wrestling, like they've been on another level above all women's wrestling. So
I just feel like I've seen people on Twitter do this thing where they're like, Japanese wrestling is up here and U.S. women's wrestling is down here. So that means there's no good women's wrestling in the U.S., which
That's
is
crazy.
a completely extreme take to go with that. Yeah. It's just a stupid take.
Yeah.
Support women's wrestling, you fuckers.
Yeah, but that's my thing. If you want to see more women getting more spots on the card, you have to support the women's wrestlers. And we've had this talk more than once where I said, like, look, support the wrestlers, man. Y'all saw that Benny tweet that came out this week. Y'all going up for people, support them. Go buy their merch. Go up for them when they have their matches.
Spitters, you got to treat the spitters different, bro. That's what's up. If you
that's what I'm saying.
You want to show love for your favorite person, you got to support them. You got to buy their merch. You got to go and cheer for them. You got to watch them on TV. You can't just be like, I'm WWE, I'm AEW, I'm Impact. No, it got to be for
the Twitter
wrestler.
Rants. Don't do it, bro. You can get on Twitter and yell all you want, but you gotta support as well.
I've been yelling about black wrestling for 5 years now on Twitter, and that shit doesn't do anything. It's all about getting in there with some execution and some list and some talking shit to Tony Khan and the media scrums. It has to be more than just being on Twitter yelling.
And I'll just say this because I also said this in our group chat. I saw all those people going up about 24 women on NXT, and for my money, Deeb versus Sheeta was more memorable than anything I've seen from NXT. That was an amazing match, and I just think that people don't give the credit to different approaches because, again, I know it's just different companies do different things, but for my personal taste, I would prefer one very good women's wrestling match on the card instead of 3 mediocre women's wrestling matches on the card just to get them on the show. It's cool to see more women on the show, but I also want it to feel like they matter and the matches are going to be something that we want to revisit.
Yeah. If we got like a Deeb Sheeta every week, that would be excellent. Like what I don't want to see is the one match just be like a throwaway squash. That's what I'm
like the Marina Shafir thing from a couple weeks. We don't need that. Put like the match they're gonna have on Rampage next week with Soho and Tony against
because that was the thing AEW was doing great for a while and then like just stopped. They had a few weeks there. Like there was one I remember in particular. It was March 18th, 2020, and it's just because it was the first pandemic show. But they did that 4-way between Penelope Ford, Hikaru Shida,
really good match.
And Riho. Was it a 4-way or was it a triple threat?
Man, I miss Riho, man.
They need to do more matches like that. If there was a 4-way women's match on Dynamite with all these amazing women that they have.
There's another one I'm thinking of too from, and I know this one for sure. Sorry, I'm just throwing dates out. But it was from the February 26, 2020 edition in Independence, Missouri, I think it was. There was a 4-way between, again, it was Shida, Big Swole, Yuka Sakazaki, and Shanna, maybe?
Shanna just got completely thrown up out of here. They got Shanna up out of here, B.
Hold on. I got
some of Shanna's tweets, and they were like, later.
No, Shanna was definitely wilding in some of those tweets.
Big facts.
But the thing that they do well is tournaments. So I'm looking forward to at least the tournament starting because I think the tournament will be good. But I do think that for the last few weeks with AEW, they've kind of dropped the ball.
I was right. It was Shanna. But that's the thing is for a little while they were doing like 4-ways like that and like little matches where you kind of got like if you're gonna do one match on the show then like feature a good chunk of the division and give us something like that to like because stuff like that also can help kind of flesh out the division, right? Because if you have a bunch of records that are kind of similar and you want to give 3 people a loss all at once and 1 a victory, 4-way, easy way to do it, or triple threat, or like stuff like that. I felt like they were like kind of on a roll with stuff like that because I felt like those matches were delivering, and then all of a sudden just stop. And I wonder what was up with that. I'm gonna say this, and I've been holding on to this for weeks. So look, when NXT 2.0 first started, I gave it a shot. I watched it for like a month, and then I decided, you know what, this show is like not for me, but it's for somebody. So more power to it. And a few friends of mine had kept saying to me for the last like 3 months, hey man, you gotta watch NXT 2.0. This show is dope. Like, it's really figured itself out. Like, NXT 2.0 is the best show. I've actually
really
heard that.
Itself out.
I've heard that. I've heard it. NXT 2.0 is amazing. It like character development. Like, if you're into character development, NXT 2.0 is the show for you. And you know me, I am definitely more in-ring based as far as a fan. But I'm like, you know what? I appreciate character development, and so I am going to give NXT 2.0 another shot. And so I have the last 2 weeks. I've watched it in full. That shit is the biggest cap I've ever heard in my life. This is the wackest show on television. Now, I went back to those.
On television.
Now, look, I went back to those friends, and I was like, you lied to me. This show is awful.
You lied to me.
And they've come back to me saying, look, you just picked the wrong weeks because you happened to pick the weeks with some of the worst angles that NXT 2.0 has run. With because, you know, the first week I'm like, nah, what the hell was that Braun Breaker shit? Like, that was awful. And they're like, no,
fell off that high thing.
Yeah. And they were like, nah, it's not like that every week. Just trust to give it another shot. I watched it this week and I got more of the same. I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. I follow NXT 2.0 as far as, like, you know, there's people there I like, and so I will at least follow the highlights, but I hadn't been watching it as a whole. But the last couple of Tuesdays, I have sat down and I have watched it live with an open mind because I legit thought, all right, I can at least appreciate a show that's there for character development. And at least these last 2 weeks have been a complete lie as far as any idea that. But then I look and I see those same people saying, the great episode of NXT this week. What the fuck are y'all talking about?
Seriously,
the show
what
is
are
not
y'all
good at
talking
all.
about? This shit's whack, bro.
Look, I don't know.
I can't with NXT 2.0. Like, I as somebody who can appreciate character development,
Characters.
I don't
welcome.
want any of these people on
I
television.
keep thinking of that now. It's on USA. That used to be USA's little
Characters
saying,
welcome.
characters welcome, and now they're NXT with all these dumbass characters like Brooks and Dunn, the country music
Like,
tag
oddly
team.
Brooks and Dunn.
Oddly enough, I have been watching a lot more wrestling lately. Right now, I feel as far as the WWE products are concerned, Raw is the most palatable show. As far as any of the shows they're putting on right now, I do think that Raw has had some pretty solid weeks. I've pretty much watched every Raw since WrestleMania, and Raw has been
that Cody draw.
That's really what it was. Like, it was initially like let me see what Cody's fucking with on Raw, and then it was like, okay, this is fine. And so I do agree with Phil. SmackDown. There's got to be a conversation about SmackDown. That show,
It's
I think
garbage.
it's fallen off a lot longer than people want to give it credit for. I think it really fell off in the draft. I think they took everything that was working on SmackDown and moved it to Raw, and left SmackDown with so little that I don't know.
It's not even that they left it with so little. You could see a change in how they paced the show because I think this bad thing happened, and it always happens with WWE. They get something good, and then they drive it into the ground. The Roman stuff worked, and so then they made the entire show about Roman, and then they progressively took all the other interesting things about SmackDown away, and now all you have is the Roman stuff. Everything else is so lackluster.
Well, at least, yeah, because before the draft, you at least had, like, the Roman stuff was working, but at least if the Roman stuff wasn't for you, you had Bianca, you had Becky, you had Seth Rollins, you had Kevin Owens. Like, there was a lot of other things on SmackDown that were working, and all of a sudden they were like, nah, let's take all of that and bring it to Raw because Roman is enough to carry SmackDown, and he's not.
He's
I think
not.
I think if people have seen. I have definitely done an about face on Roman for the last over the last 6 months that I do feel like Roman is the biggest star in the business. Easy. That said, no one act can carry a show, and I feel like SmackDown is very much a one act show right now.
It is.
That's.
I will say this though. People have to give Xavier Woods his flowers because he is the king of taking chicken shit and turning it into chicken salad. He is the king of it. The way that he has taken this roll up finish and turned it into this backwood gimmick, it is genius. He has WWE saying backwoods on TV. I don't know if some white watchers know what they're referencing, but it is hilarious. And I put the backwoods logo up last night, and I was like, they are missing the boat by not giving us backwoods merch at this point.
Oh my god!
Come on, man, make it happen.
Just
I don't know.
like any corner store in the U.S.
And I hate to say it, but yo, Pro Wrestling Tees would have did it by now. There would have been a backwoods shirt out by now. And I feel like that's one of those things that indie wrestling and like outside the WWE machine, they understand how to capitalize on something that is hot on the internet. This backwoods thing is hilarious, and I hate seeing things like Kofi getting pinned every week, but Woods is fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of that
I want to
shit.
read.
I don't know, and nothing that you guys are talking about,
So-
all that shit's trash. Especially Raw, SmackDown, Cody shit's boring as fuck.
All trash.
Roman's here. I'm bored as fuck. I'm happy that shit's over. Can we please talk about anything else in the world besides the World Wrestling Federation? That shit's trash. We can't. We're getting releases more of this.
No, there's
my
two
god.
more time potential. But so Orion Ben 666 says, shout out to Jay Shell for trying
out
to
to
correct
Jay
fools
Shell.
on this. She said then the Nixon excerpts came out and folks got quiet. Athena doesn't lie about this.
Facts.
I don't think any of the women are lying about their experiences
No.
with AEW or WWE, and I think people have to take them at face value.
Yeah. And if you can improve based on people's experiences, please do. Van Twinblade says NXT was stat padding with those ladies. They knew what they were doing.
No, they were absolutely stat pads, throwing up those triple doubles and losing games, fam. Like, come on, man, get out of here.
They made a graphic. Y'all are nasty.
Yeah, that.
And we talked about it, really. Ricardo, the bot guy, said thoughts on the Fed returning to Divas booking.
Yeah, and I think we should be very specific. I don't think it's necessarily because when you hear Divas Era, there was this. The thing that made the Divas Era bad is that they were in a creative rut, and they were also giving us the short matches. Yeah. I do think they're giving us a lot of short matches on SmackDown and Raw, and people are not really talking about it. But on NXT, they are giving the women time, but there's not real substance to the gimmicks or the stories. It's all just like, hey, look at this. This is fun. Hey, look at that. This is sexy, isn't it? This is good, right? Because look, it's what kids want, right? It's what younger people want, right? And it's just no real substance.
I do think that there is some misremembering of the worst parts of the Divas era, though, and I do think that like.
I was gonna say there hasn't been any pillow fights, but they're really close with Wendy Wu or whatever. A pillow fight could happen on any week on this fucking
water
show.
gun. The water gun match is happening.
Yeah,
one of the things
exactly.
one of the things Divas era did was like they thought women were interchangeable back then. They used to just swap theme songs out. Like there was a point where
Feeling Me was a staple.
Yeah, oh my god, that was Crystal Marshall's theme song, and then they were like, nah, we're just gonna use it for the women in general. And then also Tiffany debuts, and they were just like, we're just gonna give her Tori Wilson's music. And then Layla at one point gets Tiffany's old music that they just threw on her for no reason. And it was like
shout out Layla L too. She was fine, boy.
Layla L was so fine.
Oh my goodness.
But there was a point where, man, when she won the Diva Search, by the way, I was voting like every day. Every day, I was like, Layla L. I've got like 3 browsers open. I'm clearing the cache, and I'm like, nah, y'all better sign. I remember it came down to her and Jen England, and I was like, nah. Layla L.
Layla,
all the
bro.
way,
She
voting Layla. And when she won, I had so much faith in pro wrestling fans at that point because I thought they were
maybe
going
they do know.
Yeah, because I thought they were going to disappoint me. I was like, Yeah, because none of the black women had won in any of the other previous Diva searches, and I was like, are they going to miss it on Layla? You cannot miss it on Layla.
They did.
I was all
too
about
fine.
Layla
Yeah.
L. And the proof is in the podcast because I was podcasting at that time, and all I was talking about when it came time to cover Diva Search was vote for Layla L.
Shout out Layla L.
And so, yeah. But anyway, though, back at that time, I remember, like, after Trish Stratus retired, they had this whole movement where they were like, hey, women need to point. Because Trish Stratus came out and points, and all women need to do so. And like they were having every single diva come out, and they all had the exact same pose. They would come out, stand at the top of the ramp, and point. And they thought like the interchangeability is gone. I feel like that doesn't exist today across any level. I do feel like there's a lot of individuality that they don't view them as just like interchangeable women that you can. Move in and out
Like
of
the
any
main
role, and
roster of
people won't notice.
WWE is still like that's still like a relief. That's not like NXT 2.0.
Oh man,
so.
I saw people going, well, Bianca is not treated like a diva. Fam, Bianca's not been on NXT in what 2 or 3 years. Come on, guys, like cut it out. It's just I don't know, man. But like I think that you're right. I do think that some people have like this revisionist view of the Divas era, but I also think that there were people that started watching during the Divas era, so that was their foray into women's wrestling,
I mean,
and
there's
that's what
a
they
TV
love.
show called Total Divas. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, I know a ton of people that.
And I think Total Divas was the catalyst to giving more identity to everybody.
Yeah, no,
Total
it
Divas.
worked for them.
Yeah, no,
Because
look,
Total Divas gave exposure to the women's division in a way where it's like, okay, now we're definitely seeing them as individuals, but really it's because we're seeing them in a more natural element where there isn't.
They're not robotic, whatever stupid character you're trying to get over. They're
You're
real
not
people.
copy and paste characters, but yeah,
Right.
I just think that era has its pros and its cons. But I think the biggest issue was, like you said, the interchangeability and just like the creativity of the storylines at that time and what they were doing with characters. And I do think that there are aspects of that I can see in NXT 2.0. It might not be exactly the same, but there are similarities.
I mean, Mandy Rose she would fit right into that era.
Yeah,
so.
and look, that's not a knock.
But she
on
would have
Mandy
succeeded.
either.
Yeah, no,
Like,
she would have
she
succeeded.
did
Yeah,
fit it,
it's
but
not
she
a
didn't
knock
star.
on Mandy Rose. It's like, no, she would have been cooking back then.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think people downplay that Mandy can wrestle. I just think that they choose to highlight other things other than her wrestling. And
Yeah, they're not
that
going to
works
tell
for
you
her.
that she can wrestle. They're going to say, look at those legs or look at those lips or whatever, you know? So, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
she can definitely go.
Nathan says, too many people couldn't tell the difference between a woman choosing to have sex appeal in her character and it being forced or encouraged by their male boss.
Simple,
Big
right,
facts,
straight to the
man.
point. There you go. Man.
Big
Yes.
facts.
Let's see. We've got some others. Tremaine says Ricochet is Intercontinental Champ on SmackDown.
No,
by
he's
the
not.
way.
You're lying. That's a lie.
There is.
No, he actually defended the
No,
title.
I'm trolling.
Against Shanky last night.
Getting it shanky. Yo, bring back the Sing Bros. That's my new campaign for 2022.
I wish we
bring
could-
back the Sing Bros.
I wish we had my old rant about Veer and Shanky, and it just came in right there at that point. Veer and fucking Shanky, bro.
Remember
and Veer's
when-
now Veer.
Remember when the WWE Twitter account accidentally called him Skanky?
Yeah, they did Skanky dirty.
Ferdhausen says, so tuned out of WWE. I'm listening to your review and watching Impact and rewatch Rampage over watching SmackDown myself.
Straight up.
And Tremaine asked the good question. What would it take for Reg to even be mild on the Fed?
Money.
Yo,
Money.
yo.
Money.
This
Some of
is
your-
the check.
some of your-
This will change it to WWE's my favorite show I've ever seen. I love WrestleMania. The Randy Orton's the greatest WWE wrestler
Yeah.
of all time.
Yo,
He
they were
says
getting
it in
at
a
my
fucking
guy over these
WrestleMania.
Reggie takes. Those Randy takes were getting people in their feelings, bro.
Oh, they were getting me out of here. There were some wrestlers trying to get me out of here. I'm like, yo, I didn't say because I don't like Randy Orton. You shouldn't like Randy Orton. That's always my thing is I understand why everybody likes him. I just don't want any part of that. Like, I get it. He's a great wrestler, but I don't. Oh.
There are a few moments, and I'm sure when we get to October and we do like a retrospective of our first year as a podcast, there are a few moments as a trio that I looked around and I go, we're doing the Shield fist bump metaphysically
Definitely.
across Twitter because
Bro, when I said when's the last time you seen a dope Randy Orton match and people are talking about match from 2011, that's not a sell, bro. I need something. What kind of a sell is that?
Yeah, I don't remember what night it was, but it was that whatever night that was when somebody was like, Orton is better than Punk, and all three of us were like, nah,
No.
collectively. I was like, no.
He is not.
Shot Kid 29 says, so there's still 2 open spots in the women's Owen debuts, maybe. If so, some combination of Nixon, Mia, or Taya, please. I want Athena Jade at Double or Nothing. I know. Okay, I guess I'm pretty sure one of them is Chris Statlander. So then it's really
that
just
makes sense. Just one spot.
Yeah, so it's really just one. So just kind of keep that in mind.
And that could be Athena, that could be Mia Yim, that could be it could be a lot of people, honestly. But those
Could
are probably
be
my 2
Yuka.
guesses.
She's coming back,
Yeah, it could
right?
be Yuka.
Like,
I would love to see it.
yeah.
let's see. So let's talk about the releases because
Not
several
surprised.
NXT talents were cut. Dave Meltzer reported yesterday that he's been of the impression that there's going to be more, that essentially WWE has the big investors call coming up next week, and they usually like to get all this done before the investors call. So they're thinking there may be some main roster cuts, but in the meantime, we saw a bunch of NXT cuts yesterday. I believe there was 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 9. Am I missing
No, I
one?
think there was 10. There was one. I remember seeing that. Which was that last one? Whatever the last one that Sean Ross posted. I think there is.
Wasn't
10.
it Loomis?
Loomis, yeah. Loomis was the last one. That was the 10th one.
So there's, but yeah, we saw a lot of names cut. Our friend of the show, Dakota Kai, was.
Shout out to Dakota Kai, man.
Shout out to Dakota Kai.
She's awesome.
She is, and she was one of the names released. We saw Malcolm Bivens. Really, the 3 people are talking about are Dakota, Malcolm, and Dexter.
Just because they were they were in the highest positions. A lot of the couple of those were legit brand new, like they've been in WWE for like 3 months or something. So
Yeah, because we saw Harlan cut.
Yeah.
And he was an interesting one because it seemed like they were really high on him, and there was a lot of hype around.
But then they gave him they did this to themselves. They gave him that
Why
dumb
did they try
gimmick.
to make him Festus?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, it
Like,
wasn't going
look
to
at
work.
his Instagram. It would be way more interesting if he was that guy with this designer shoes and shit. That shit would have been fucking dope.
When I saw him walk into Wale Mania and I saw what he was wearing, the people he was with, I was like, oh, this
Bruh,
dude is saucy. Like,
I'm
why didn't I have this
saying.
dude on TV like this?
When Westside Gunn was on NXT and they finally acknowledged him, it was because of Harlan. But, they don't get that, so, of course.
Yeah.
Yo, one of the funniest things I noticed this week is when I watched Theory win the United States Championship, and you could see Westside in the background saying, come on, man.
Somebody tweeted him, too. Somebody was like, why were you so disappointed? And he's like, that's Finn Balor's my
No,
brother.
Balor's
What do
his
you mean?
guy.
Yeah, what you mean? I'm mad. This is whack.
No, and it was whack.
It was whack, yeah.
But yeah, so we saw. So here's the thing: as far as
This happens every year.
but as far as Dakota is concerned, Dakota was a case where, according to Fightful Select, make sure they get the props there. Dakota definitely saw the writing on the wall, and we could see the writing on the wall with her. And part of it was there seemed to have been, for the longest time, just a complete lack of commitment with her. That I personally have never felt that she didn't come through as a performer.
great.
That I was definitely very, very late on the Dakota train, but I felt like as a performer, she is somebody who definitely was always up to the task, easily. But it never.
She's one of those they didn't give her whole everything that's great about her. They didn't highlight it. I feel, you know what I mean. Like, she would come through in the ring because she's a great talent, but like everything that would take her to the next level, they didn't highlight. Sadly.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I felt this distinct lack of commitment with her, though, when it felt like you know, the word out now was that they felt like she wasn't good enough for the main roster, and yeah, that feels like an insane take. However, I can see that they felt that way, because like when they called her up for them dark matches, she would work those matches, and then like I remember, I think it was last year, she had a dark match with Aaliyah, and they put Aaliyah over, and that immediately told me, oh, they see Aaliyah over Dakota Kai very clearly. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened, right? Aaliyah goes up to the main roster. Dakota Kai does not. She remains in NXT. And again, nobody wants to remain in NXT. Nobody moved, especially if they're not from the States. Nobody moved here to work in Florida.
Only in Florida? That's crazy.
Yeah, especially when your company is all about having a touring brand of pro wrestling. That's it.
It's all about money, you guys. They're not going to stay in NXT making peanuts. That shit's whack.
And so the thing is, like, for her, I absolutely can see her vision, which is, I need to be elsewhere. Like, I need to be back, especially when I'm seeing how much people are thriving outside of WWE. And it's not to say, like, immediately go to AEW, though that's my hunch is where she's headed.
But she don't need to.
The fact is, the thing is, you can sign with AEW and then also work a million other places. And like the fact that people are thriving, getting to put on the best matches of their lives and getting to do it all around the country in front of different fans every single week and get to have really the experience that they get to craft. I absolutely see why she didn't want to be there anymore.
And look at all the places she can go. She could be at Mission Pro. She could be in the new one that Maria Canales is starting. She could be in Impact Wrestling. There's so many. Women's wrestling right now is insane. So I think there's even more of a motivation for women that are in the WWE to be like, look, the grass is honestly greener on the other side. I will leave if you guys are not going to treat me right, or if you don't get it. Which
like if you don't have a plan for me, if you don't have a plan for me, you know, I'm not interested. Like I absolutely could see that. And she saw the writing on the wall, and it sounded like she wasn't interested in staying there anyway. So that seems more like a mutual, but I don't know that directly.
It's just interesting to me because I saw a lot of people with the Athena thing and the Tegan thing go, well, they don't have characters, it's their fault, or they never managed to get over what is.
Can I say, by the way, real quick, I feel like wrestling Twitter specifically, but wrestling fans a lot on the internet don't know the difference between character and a gimmick. And they think that a character and a gimmick are the same thing. And that's not true at all.
No, it's not. And
that honestly, wrestling as a whole doesn't really need gimmicks at all. But I feel like people think that if you can't describe it on a sheet of paper, then it's not character.
Like one of the most famous gimmick characters, Stone Cold Steve Austin. They brought him in as a gimmick, and then he got over when he was himself, which is his character. So you know what I mean? Gimmick
is not character traits. Character traits define like certain things about their personality, their motivations.
Gimmick is like Madcap Moss. He's a funny guy that wears dumb clothes. That's like a gimmick.
Exactly. But where I was going with that is that I feel like I've seen a lot of people use this excuse for some women. Oh, she didn't have a character. I saw people trying to do it with Tony. Oh, she never figured out a character, and that's why she didn't work there. Dakota Kai is the exception to that because Dakota Kai did everything they asked of her. I thought she was a great babyface. They had a chance to make her a babyface champion. I thought she was great during the Mae Young Classic. She was great when they sent her to NXT UK. I really felt like she should have been the one to dethrone Shayna. The story was there, and they never went back to it. I feel like you could make the same conversation about Candice LeRae as well. But I feel like they didn't understand how to use her as a babyface, so they turned her. The same way you had Team Kick as a great tag team, and you could easily push them in the Dusty Cup and had them fixtured on television every week as a tag team, and they didn't get that. They just didn't understand things about her as a babyface. They missed the ball. Right. So they told her to turn heel. She had one of the best heel turns in recent memory, in my opinion, and she made that heel character work. And I love that
thing that they did in the War Games where she came out and kicked Tegan. That was great.
It was great, and she had that great. I think it was a cage match with Tegan. No, she managed to make everything they asked her to do work, and they still didn't see it in her. I thought they should have made her champion as a heel as well, and they went with Raquel. And even after that, they still could have had her beat Raquel and be champion, and they still wouldn't do it. And that's why I'm like, whatever excuse she can make for other women about them not having the personality and stuff, Dakota does not fit in that box. There's so much she can do elsewhere. We were talking about somebody that's worked Stardom. She is a former Artist of Stardom champion. She's
another one of those, when they see her, she, like Athena was the same thing. Like every match she's had post WWE is amazing, and they're like, oh wait, I forgot that you can do that. It's going to be the same thing with Dakota. They're going to be like, oh wait, she is an amazing wrestler. WWE dropped the ball.
She's going to kill it, man. And look, I already said it online. Hey, whatever she goes by after this, is not Dakota Kai, if it's Evie, book Evie versus the Kick Demon. Give us that match. That's going to be awesome. I want to see them exchanging kicks because, come on, man. Like, that's the easy one. That's the lob.
She has about 1 million dream matches on the indies in Japan. It's lit, honestly.
Yeah, and if you're talking about going to AEW,
her and Diona's going to be fired.
Yeah, if you're talking about somebody that could go to AEW that has experience working with Joshi wrestlers like Nyla does, like Tony does, she would fit right along there if they want to do other stuff, especially if you're talking about doing that all-women show. I don't know if that's a thing, but if you do want to do that later and we speak it into existence, she can work those matches.
Yeah, and she could work on, just like you were saying, both sides of the coin. She could do heel, she could do face. She can cover a lot of ground.
She's great.
Talent. She's going to be on the way.
Man, she's great.
And then Stokely Hathaway, Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah, I had a little Twitter meltdown because I just read the top line of Sean Ross Sapp thing where it said Stokely Hathaway was released, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then the bottom is like, he wanted to. And then that made me, I got super excited because I know that he's cooking something in his brain. Just like I said on Twitter, they never for 1 second of his whole run utilized him to his full potential. Malcolm Bivens, also known as Stokely Hathaway, is the best manager in wrestling by far. Like, it's not just like he's hot on Twitter, which he's an amazing on Twitter. Him and Nyla are like neck and neck
Just
for best
two
Twitters.
funniest people,
yeah, they're just hilarious.
My God, if that's the combo we
that's crazy, huh? But yeah, no, like he is just like, he enhances so many talents. He could do heel, he could do face. He is just an amazing guy. Every time we see content from him, it's amazing. If he didn't want to resign and wanted to go out into the world, I'm super excited because I know he has something planned. There's so many ways he could go, so many companies he could be in. AEW, like we said, is immediate. There's like a bunch of wrestlers there. Impact, he could go to Japan. He could be anywhere in the world, and it's gonna work out because this guy just knows how to do it. Honestly, he could just be what he used to be before he went to WWE. It's just like Stokely Hathaway all over the independents. He's managing people in every independent wrestling company, getting the bag. It's lit. I'm very excited about this one. This is dope. Honestly, I got so excited when I saw that he was released and he didn't resign, which means we out here. So
yeah, he was offered a contract extension back in February that he declined.
Love it.
And so this is pretty much like a preemptive release of like, all right, you don't want to be here, then we don't want to.
Good. Yeah.
Hey, and look, I always
you can't quit, you're fired.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, and I always applaud people going, look, I know I can do better somewhere else. I don't want to renew. I want to do that. I'm always going to respect that.
Yep.
And they sat on him for, he signed 3 years ago. Like, this isn't like a case of, well, you gave him, he was getting a chance. Like, you didn't even figure out what you wanted to do with him till literally a few months ago.
Right.
You introduced Diamond Mine last year, and you started firing people from Diamond Mine who who you had already introduced on TV. Like,
Roddy's the only one left now. It's crazy out here.
Like,
no, they still got Ivy and the Creeds, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But, like, he was, pedaling uphill for a long time, right? Of, like, okay, y'all are taking away my group. Of, like, you already established them on TV and then fired people that were just put on TV in it. Like, and for him, I can absolutely see having a bigger vision and wanting to do more and that not being the place for it. And so,
they don't like managers in WWE anyways. Like MVP and Paul Heyman are like the only ones that are gonna get shit.
Unless you are somebody who wants to wrestle like your LA Knight or
Yeah, exactly.
about to be Adam Cole.
Unless they force you into being a manager and then fire
I
you.
still can't believe they looked at LA Knight and were like, nah, manager. Like,
Dude, I thought that was like, if I could name like 5 wrestlers that I thought were going to succeed, like I'm like WWE is their way. LA Knight was Eli Drake dummy, yeah, he was the one. I was like, this guy is tailor made for this. I'm like, what? He's everything you like. That would probably be the most disheartening to me because like it feels like he worked his whole career to be a WWE wrestler, not a wrestler, a WWE superstar. He worked his whole career for that, and then for them to be like, oh no, we just want you to be a manager because you're old. Fuck off, dude.
It's weird. This is just another reminder that we don't actually know what WWE wants because every time we see somebody that looks like what they want, it's not it. Like I thought that with Killer Cross, like I thought he was what they wanted. And
he was another one on my
not.
top 5 list. I'd be like, no, Killer Cross is gonna make a killing. No, they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't
that's what makes it so weird that they were like, nope. Out of all these NXT guys, Theory. And it's like,
yeah,
huh? And that's not a knock at Theory. It's just weird because when you look at the other guys that they kind of passed on, it's like, that's the guy that you guys think is the next up? Mm-hmm. It's weird.
So Loomis was interesting because I thought his signing when he first signed 3 years ago was like really out of place and odd.
I thought so
like,
too.
I would not have ever looked at Sam Shaw and TNA and gone, all right, that's a guy WWE's going to attach to. And to steal a point from Bix, you know, he had said yesterday that he thought that Sam Shaw was just one of those like, all right, we got to keep him from any other company, so let's sign him up kind of signings. And they ended up just kind of stuck with him. But then, like, they did some things with him, right? Like, they did the stuff with Indy Hartwell, and they got people
He was a prominent character over there for a while in NXT.
Damn, he's another one. He did everything they asked him to do. He did all of the goofy comedy stuff. He did that wedding angle, which I thought that wedding angle was trash. Sorry. But he did everything they asked him to do, and then they still were just like, nah, see you later. And I feel like that also speaks to what Athena was saying, like, yo, I'm tired of this. I've done everything you asked me to do, and there is no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
There's some people that have been in the game for 13 and 14 years before they get here. I've done it all. I want to do me. Let me go off. Let me be Mercedes Martinez. She talked about it. She said, I've been this for this many years and you're going to try to change what I created. That doesn't even make any sense. And then you don't want to use me. How do you want to use me? What's going on here? But, you know, as you said, we don't know what they want. They don't know what they want at this point. Yeah. It's just things.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. My hunch, my gut feeling is that this is going to kind of be the norm for NXT 2.0. That NXT 2.0 isn't necessarily going to have a whole lot of patience. And kind of rightfully so, right? Like, this is a show that was designed to make people for the main roster. And it's almost like, look, if you're not main roster, what we see for the main roster, then, like, why are we continuing to waste hours of your time? And so I think there's going to be a lot more faster turnover.
A lot more turnover.
Well, I mean, Triple H said it. He said it in that Athletics interview. That was going to happen. He said we're not gonna waste as much time on people. We're gonna cut them right away.
But then how do you find out who's anything?
But see, that's why I am kind of leery with this NIL thing, because it's like it seems like they're gonna just bring in a bulk of people and they're gonna, you know,
like they said, Harlan wasn't progressing. Like, you didn't give him time to progress. You didn't give him any moment to try.
They're not going to be patient with it anymore. He said it outright in that interview. But that was another thing that was interesting about the Athena thing, because everybody made it seem like, all right, well, just because he's not there, we don't know that this wasn't Triple H's plan. And then he came out and gave that song and dance about
a couple of people have been saying that
this was always the plan. And Athena basically said, like, no, once Triple H went away, nobody knew what was going on, which we all knew, but nobody would admit it.
Hunter said something that was like almost demonstrably false. He straight up said that what was it? He said, you know, it's still, you know, my crew there. No, it's not. The only person
he did say that. He sure
this
did.
Is cap, big bro. They're gone.
Sure
like,
did
no,
say
all
that.
your guys are gone.
Like, just Shawn Michaels. That's it.
Like,
that's all you got.
I mean,
Regal's
that is his
literally
crew.
leading a faction in another company. What are you talking about?
That is his crew. Shawn Michaels is his crew, so I guess it's not that much.
They even got Brian out of here. So
yeah, like Road Dogg, Regal, like all his guys.
Yeah.
Ryan Katz, like, do you know how many people have Ryan Katz stories?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, there was a lot of people making up stuff about NXT 2.0. Look, I get that it did need to change because it did get a bit stale. But there are people that are acting like, no, the black and gold brand was in the mud, and this was always Triple H's plan. Don't look like it, fam.
I don't think so. I think they were going to make a switch, but it wasn't going to be like 2.0 extreme. Everything's out the window.
Even if they reboot it, I think Trips was going to be more hands-on.
I mean, I do have one genuine question, because I hear it a lot that NXT 2.0 is more successful than Black and Gold. But my question for that is, but that's my question. By what metric? Like, I genuinely mean that. Like, I am genuinely asking, by what metric?
That's a lie. Sasha Banks, Roman Reigns. Like, come on, dude.
But in what way?
Roman
it's
doesn't
not
count,
more
but you know
successful
what
as a
I'm saying.
television show because the ratings are bad.
Yeah, ratings are in the mud.
They're not doing takeovers anymore, so you can't see what they're doing as in terms of a gate.
No touring. They were touring on the Black and
Yeah,
Gold brand,
it's
you know. Like,
no.
I mean, like, also in terms of even having main roster successes, they haven't called anybody up from that brand. So like,
where is Io Shirai, fam? Call this woman up. Get her off of that brand. Cut it out.
like I'm like genuinely curious. By what metric is NXT 2.0 more successful than Black and Gold?
Man,
this is I'm genuinely asking this because I like am actually looking for it. Carlos says, I'm the biggest Dakota fan. It was ready to snap when I saw the news. Luckily saw she didn't want to resign. The turn at War Games was one of the coolest moments I've seen live. Such a shame they never gave her a run as NXT champ. We love you, Dakota.
I believe that was in Chicago, wasn't it? When she turned at War Games.
2019.
you were there, Phil?
I was not there. Hilarious story. I had a ticket to that show, but I didn't go.
Oh, you did too? You told me about that story. That is funny.
And let's see. Also, we have Brent says, "Long live Stokely Hathaway. His run in MLW a few years back.
Another
was
place
so
he
fun.
could show up. Yep. Mm-hmm. I like it.
With the releases happening, does Ali ask for his? I mean, his ask is still on the table.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't take it back.
that's actually our next story. Yeah, let's talk about that now because
That's funny. Yeah, these two things do coincide because Ali really was like, "Let me get up out of here," and they told him, "Nah."
Nah, is the big difference that he got online and was like he wanted to leave and embarrass them, and the others were just saying it behind scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest difference.
Asuka and Ali did return this past Monday on Raw. And yeah, exciting moments.
I hated when he came out and Austin Theory was like, "You took your ball and went home," and they were trying to make it like it was his fault that he wasn't on TV. I hate it. I hate when when Vince is like, "It's not my fault. It's
I'll
their
show
fault."
you.
Oh my God.
Especially because like
that
that's
shit.
not what happened.
That's not what happened.
He wasn't on TV and he requested his release publicly, but it's not like he asked to not be like that's not what happened there at all.
No,
yeah,
he didn't take his ball and go home. He was trying to take his ball and be on TV with them, and they told him no.
The thing I will say about that, I do think that it's smart to make Theory the messenger for that because he's essentially the Vince McMahon errand boy. So it makes sense for them to do it with that character. And look,
I guess it's good heel heat because I fucking hate it.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the stuff he did with Miz when he came out was interesting enough, but it is just so awkward because you know that he doesn't want to be there.
Right.
It's just very awkward, and I mean,
it is awkward. It feels awkward.
If this turns into a push for him and he gets good things out of this, great, because he deserves good things. But I just don't like that it looks like it's out of spite. And we don't know the story behind it. We don't know why he was put back on TV at this moment.
I do, but I guess I can't talk about that right now.
Okay, well, we'll wait until we can talk about it. But
I don't know. Like I said, I never like to be the reporter, so I don't know what's out there about that. So
come on, Scoopster.
So I at least want to make sure
get
that
some
it's
eyes
out
on
there
our
before I
show,
say
boy.
anything.
Let it go.
No, I can't do that. But
Come on, man. But man, I want great things for Ali, man. I cannot say that enough.
He's a great talent. That's why we're
fantastic
all upset
talent
that he wasn't on TV, honestly.
Yeah, one of those guys from the cruiserweight division that they just, for whatever reason, did not get. There's so many guys from that division that are good. Like, they got Gulak doing whatever the fuck they're doing with Gulak, and he's just so much better than that. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, that Ali was interesting because, I don't know, there wasn't, like, a great crowd reaction for his return, like, really at all.
Right.
And what I find interesting about that is that, like, you watch Raw, WWE doctors them crowd reactions. Like, I have been picturing for the last year somebody sitting there with, like, like an NPC, like, drum machine with, like, cheer, boo, and, like, they're just sitting there and they're like, all right, cheer, all right, and then we got boo, all right, and then let's get some this is awesome,
right?
All right, like, that's how I picture, like, DJing Raw, right?
EQ it. EQ it a little bit.
like they've been... I imagine it's probably necessary because, like, the king of the fake reactions right now has been Bobby Lashley, and it's probably because he's been a heel for so long that they're like, okay, we got to get some cheers in. But they have been like, you would think The Rock's been returning the way they've been, like, going
that one. Matthew posted that one.
The one,
that was.
Yeah, where, like,
God,
you see nobody
so
in the
silly.
background move, and there's just, like, this monster cheer. But same with when he appeared on the Titantron, they threw a big cheer for Bobby Lashley. And like, this is new territory for WWE because they didn't have the ability until the Thunderdome to do this for live shows.
I told people when it happened, this is going to be a blessing in disguise for them, and it's going to be a reign of terror.
Once they learned how to do it in the Thunderdome, to do cheers live, because it was always something they, like, doctored in on, like, tape shows, but it was never something they were able to do live. But now that they have the ability, they have not taking their finger off that button.
I knew the writing was on the wall for something like this at WrestleMania 32 when on the Big Tron they had cheer and boot, like they were directing the crowd, and I was like, something is going real bad here.
I mean,
the Thunderdome made it go like, okay, now we could just get the old PS2 audio clips and put them in there.
Well, and I had a feeling that was going to be the case in the comeback when at WrestleMania 37. I noticed in the Sasha and Bianca match that during the entrances there were like it all sounded like the Thunderdome, and I thought,
like, if you're doing that at WrestleMania, it's
you're
crazy.
Doing that at WrestleMania,
There's 70,000 people here,
and I was like, no, don't do that because you got people here, and but I at least justified in my brain. I'm like, but it's limited capacity and everybody's wearing masks, so maybe. You're just doing it for now, but once people, like, fully come back, you don't need to do it, and then they still do it.
Yeah.
So,
I was screaming behind my mask for Bianca and Sasha. You could still hear it. I didn't get why they did that. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. The way they played it after that Lacey promo last night was. Oof. I was like, nobody in this crowd is cheering for this. Knock it off. Cut it out.
I said all that to say that. They have the ability to enhance anything they want.
Right.
Like, essentially, at this point, you don't have to say somebody's gotten a bad reaction, because if you want the reaction you want, just do it. You have that ability. So I was curious when I saw that, like, Ali felt like a tepid reaction, and I thought,
because they want it to be.
I was gonna say that adds more onto that spite, so they could be like, look, we put you on TV and nobody cares.
Well, because y'all could have fixed that, because not all those cheers in Asuka's entrance were legit.
No.
But I'm like, you could have fixed that, and you didn't. And I found that interesting. But either way.
They want him to fall on his face, man. It looks very obvious.
But he beat The Miz. He did get him with the roll-up victory.
But like we just talked about a couple weeks ago with The Miz and Cody, it doesn't mean anything. Nobody cares. It's a nothing victory at this point, honestly.
On a more exciting side of things, Asuka is back. Asuka, one of the best in the world. As I mentioned this past week on DAD, I've been watching Asuka versus Hikaru Shida matches on YouTube just because those two have a lot of history and a lot of chemistry.
You've seen the tag match with Kenny and
Kenny, yes.
with the hip checks.
Yes,
hilarious match. If you guys haven't seen it, it's hilarious. Even if you could just see the the highlights of it. It's somewhere on YouTube.
But
speaking of black and gold, Asuka, the matches that she had in the black and gold brand when she was the women's champion, amazing, man. She had so many great matches out there.
Incredible. Man, Asuka's easily one of my favorite wrestlers. Not just favorite women's wrestlers. She's one of my favorite wrestlers, period.
Yeah.
And
Love Asuka.
I wanted to be more excited about her return because I have been wanting her to come back. I feel like they should have brought her back at Rumble. I don't know. She just wasn't ready. But, yeah, this was... The response to it was weird because they tried to put the piped-in crowd, and it was just like... But... I do think that this feud is going to be good because I do think that Becky is going to bring the character work to it, and they always have great matches together. They have not had a single bad match. So I think it is promising that they're giving her a big feud straight away.
Ooh, that Royal Rumble 20 was that 2020?
The one that Asuka won, or
No, the one that that she lost with the mist where. Becky got her with the gut check right as she was gonna miss and hit her, and she spit it in the air. That's such a creative finish. I fucking love that.
Yeah, I love that match. I actually love when she beat her too with the cattle mutilation.
Yeah,
such a good match. Underrated match. I think it got thrown under the fact that Becky won Royal Rumble that night,
right?
And people didn't talk about the match, which is kind of story of Asuka's main roster run is that she's had great moments, and they're immediately a footnote to somebody else's moment.
Yes. Because her winning the title was more about Ronda Rousey screwing over Charlotte and Becky.
Her winning the Rumble was more about Ronda, which I fucking hated.
Yes, but Asuka's back, and Becky had cut a promo beforehand, and then Asuka comes out, interrupts, and hopefully it's addressed that Becky had handed the title over to Asuka at one point, and. Because I felt like Becky would be a little more angry about the fact that, or happy to see her. Hey, this is the person I passed the torch to when I left to become a mutter.
Man, look, Becky's character work is underrated, in my opinion. I don't think people are giving her enough credit for the heel stuff she's doing. The way she reacted when Asuka's music hit, and she was like, oh no, because this is the person that's giving her the most problems throughout her main roster run, because... She beat her when she was the man. She was one of the few people that beat her during that run legitimately. And so I felt like it made sense for them to come back to this and go like, yeah, she never beat you for the title, but at the same time, you know that she can. And so I like the idea that she is straight away worried about Asuka because like the way the promo was going, she was basically like, no, I'm going to go on this hellacious run and I'm going to be back in the title picture. And then Asuka was like, nah, I'm back here though. I don't think
and then flicked her nose.
Right.
Yeah, man. The nose body is better, ready for Asuka stuff that she's doing on Twitter. It's great. She definitely has one of the funniest Twitter accounts right up there with Stokely and Nyla.
Yeah, she's good.
She's great.
Yeah, well, that's Asuka's back, and I think that is a breath of fresh air and a shot in the arm for the division in the sense that, as Becky has pointed out, she's been consistently holding the belt for 3 years. She was gone for a year, and that happened to be a year that like nothing matters from. Yeah. And as soon as she's back, right back in the picture, so it's going to be refreshing to see Becky outside of the title picture after 3 years.
A big feud that doesn't revolve around the title is for the women's division is always welcome. So they'll get good matches with time that it's going to mean something because they're both two important figures. So this is good.
That's a very good thing. And yeah, I'm excited to have Asuka back. Ali, I'll be interested in his shoot interviews.
Come on, man, do better by Ali, man. Yeah. The other thing is Asuka's Tron looks incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the. I'm not a big fan of the VR graphics like at all. I think those are terrible, but I do think like that. But I do like some of the Tron work that's done behind those. Like, I don't know. It's weird to me that the VR stuff is supposed to look big budget, but it actually looks tacky.
It does.
And it's almost like we got money and shouldn't be spending it like fucking PS2 graphic Roman
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
That statue looks awful,
it
bro.
looked awful.
Big
I
time
can't believe it
Bex,
had this for a year.
awful. Yeah, so bad.
The little cheap American Nightmare graphics that come in, none of that stuff's any good. But I do think that the Trons and stuff are great. Like, oddly enough, just film what the people see. That's
Right.
I don't know. I have never needed like
not that hard.
if you're gonna do the AR graphics, like save that stuff for like a WrestleMania or something.
Yeah.
But it looks like seeing it every week to me is a mistake.
Right.
Hey, guess who won the TNT title again?
Scorp.
Real is back, bro. We're back in the building.
Me and Reg already talked about this, but I felt like you know who really needed the floor for this? Philip Lindsey.
Yes, yes.
Somebody
Agreed.
tried to get your man out the paint the day of Battle of the Belts, because I was really excited for Scorpio, so I made myself an easy target for this, and I'm not gonna be apologetic for that. Scorpio's great. I wanted him to win, and I thought that he had a good moment, but this match was really good. That ladder match was so much better than it had any right to be.
Again, Sammy Guevara.
Sammy
Careful,
Guevara.
dude. Be careful out there. That 6:30.
What was that?
Dude.
What was he thinking?
Dude.
There was no way
relax.
Scorpio could catch him. Like,
No
I
way.
don't know what he was doing.
You coming down so fast, dude. Don't do that.
Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, I think there was a lot of skepticism, myself included, with the double turn at Battle of the Belts, whether it was going to work. But I thought this worked tremendously because I felt like the reaction to this was so much better than his first win.
Agreed.
I think that the hate for Sammy is in full effect. The boos were so loud this week you could barely hear his theme music. And so it just shows that they made the right decision by flipping both of them. And I just think the wherewithal to do what Cody did for Sammy and do all of the callbacks in that match to make it clear that that's what they were doing. They did the callback with the cutter. So it was very clear that they did story beats here. Like anybody
Right.
that thought that there wasn't a plan after Scorpio lost, I felt like this fairly proved that was wrong. Even after the match, they did all the callbacks to the promos that they did after the match, the way that Scorpio shoved Lambert out the way, the very small tease this week of Frankie coming out and Scorpio basically saying, no, I'm not going to renege on my promise, and seeing them still have that affection for each other from SCU, and Lambert and Ethan were looking at him in the background like, what is this? The seeds of dissension are there. It's coming. They're going to turn on him or he's going to leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like what they're doing, and man, if this again leads to Scorpio having his big moment in a forum which he deserves, I'm here for it.
We waiting for a month out.
Yep. So the way I looked at this was because I've seen the general take of, Happy Scorpio got it back, but he shouldn't have lost in the first place. I'll say this as far as that's concerned. Long-term booking is always, I think, the most preferred way of booking a wrestling promotion because it always feels rewarding to look back and go, man, this is the culmination of my personal investment after all this time. Kenny and Hangman is one of the best examples of long-term booking and getting a payoff that was worthwhile.
Yes.
There's also...
That's not the only way
Yeah.
you can book a championship.
but,
I think
what I was
going
gonna
to
say-
No.
What I was going to say is there also is reading the room and that sometimes your long-term booking ideas don't work out. Another example, looking at the WWE side, is WWE had a really long-term plan. Summer of 2005, they had decided our WrestleMania main event for WrestleMania 22 is going to be Triple H versus John Cena. That's it. They knew it then. They had a stare down on Raw, I think, in October of 2005, and it was like, okay, they're going to now get us there by April. But what happened by April? Cena got booed out of the building, and Hunter was starting to get cheered, and it was like, okay, we do not have the same match that we thought we had in October of 2005. And so this was a case like this where it's like, okay, long-term plan was very clearly, actually the longer-term plan was Cody and Brandy versus Scorpio and Paige Van Zant. But when they no longer had Cody and Brandy, the plan became Paige Van Zant and Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti. So, long-term plan, that's obviously it. But again, read the room. Fans aren't cheering Sammy Guevara, and the fans aren't really booing Scorpio Sky. And it's like, while some saw what happened with Scorpio losing the title as not in Scorpio's favor, again, I look at that as if you wanted to turn Scorpio face, the best way to turn somebody face is to get fans sympathy for them, to make fans care about them. And I don't think you could have just outright turned Scorpio in any way without having some kind of injustice happen. And in his case, it was he was screwed out of the title. He immediately gets the microphone, or they do the backstage thing, the social media promo he cut where he's like, happens to me again. The first opportunity they got, they screwed me out of my title. And it worked, right? Because they're in Philadelphia. The fans wanted to see him beat Sammy Guevara and get his belt back. By the time they got to the end of that match, the fans were cheering their asses off. And I guess I don't know how a babyface turn would have worked for Scorpio any more effectively than that. Do I like hot potatoing of belts? Not really.
I love it. Honestly,
I know, right? Well, and the
when
thing
it's
is,
not,
that is a
even as the world champion, I want the world championship to be like that, but people are fucking dumb, as I've realized. Every single championship doesn't have to be a long-term champion. Ooh, if he's not 500 days champion, he needs to be CM Punk, and he needs to shut up, dude. Like, every title doesn't have to be the same. And most importantly, it's the fucking television championship defended every fucking week. Of course, there's gonna be more defenses, more losses, more hot potatoing, because all these guys are evenly fucking matched. It's not like two dorks and they're just giving it to whoever. No, it's like Sammy Guevara, fucking Darby Allin, Scorpio Sky. There's all these super talented guys. So when they win the championship, it's not like a hot potato. It's like, no, it's a super hot wrestler who won the belt. When it happens in MMA and UFC, those titles change hands all the time. Somebody gets hot, wins for 3 fights, and then another person that's been winning for 10 fights comes in and beats him, and then they lose. This is just how it works, man. It doesn't have to be all everybody's booked for a year and a half fucking run. And if you do, keep it to the world champion, bro.
Like, I do agree with the logic that the belt's defended more, so in that sense, it should change hands more if it is defended more.
Come on.
Otherwise, you're just going to get a bunch of retentions.
It's been defended 49 times. I looked it up. Oh, my God.
So, I saw this.
49? Holy shit.
I saw this take on Twitter, and I had to stop myself from responding to it. I stopped myself from responding to a lot of things just to save myself the stress. But that 24/7 take is the stupidest
shit. That is the worst
shit.
dumb take that anybody in their fucking take. You guys, you're stupid. Stop it. That's dumb.
You can say what you want about wanting longer reign for the TNT title recently, and you not liking a hot potato, but regardless, the TNT title still feels important. It's still main event shows. The
matches are badass. It's not a fucking joke title that fucking
it's not a joke title. It's not a joke title won by roll-ups. Like, it's not the same at all. It's a stupid take.
Right, and like I said, I think that, like, it's very clear, and it's been clear for a long time, that they're behind Scorpio, that he is somebody that they want to see succeed, and it was a matter of, as a heel, was he getting the reactions a heel needed to get? Not really. Dan Lambert was, but at the same time, I don't want Scorpio Sky feeding off of Dan Lambert reactions. I want people reacting to Scorpio Sky. Yeah. And so, in this sense, I think a babyface run for him is going to be more so what he needs.
More beneficial for sure.
As
you can see, look at they haven't even done the full turn, and his win was way different than his first win. You know what I mean? Just by doing that, it already changed the course of everything, and he got a bigger victory off of that. So, like,
way bigger reaction.
Now, I want to see them. I think the best story they could do with it for me would be like doing a triple cross of him, where because the general prediction is that. Obviously you could see that Lambert and company are unhappy with him being cool with his SCU buddies, or buddy, because Chris Daniels isn't out there, but Kaz is. But I want to see Kaz also turn. And then it's like...
I did think something when he came out in the all-black suit. I was like...
Yeah, and then all of a sudden... And like Kaz aligns with Ethan Page, and it's like Scorpio's ex-partners form an alliance together against Scorpio, and like do a
Scorpio
three-way,
needs to
like
be alone, though. I don't think he needs.
Yeah, but that's why I want to see Scorpio alone,
Yeah.
and I want to kind of see like Scorpio against the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like that's where I would go with that, and I would love to see a three-way: Page, Kaz, and Scorpio. Like that would be a fire match. Also, though, we're seeing what Ethan Page can do on the mic.
Yeah,
and
Ethan Page's great on the mic.
Yeah, and I want to see. Honestly, just get Dan Lambert out of here.
He doesn't need Dan Lambert either. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Everybody that you're talking for can talk, bro. What are you doing here?
Get Lambert out of here, bro.
Just get Dan Lambert out of here. That's what I want to see. But no, I think we'll get a better idea of what Scorpio brings to the table as a champion as a babyface.
And bringing back the open challenge thing will benefit Scorpio Sky a lot too. So hopefully they get that back.
Give him the record.
Yeah. He promised Kazarian in the first defense. Like, just give it to him.
Let's keep it going.
There's a lot you can do there, and that's what I want to see. Do it. But of course, we got to get through this mixed tag first.
And congrats to Scorpio on winning that
Big
championship.
congrats.
That was a great match.
Hey, Brent Lockman says, is it fair to say the WWE looked at their audience as a visual and nothing more at this point? I mean, it is a visual. Yes, they do like having the people there. I've been hoping for the longest time that they...
As soon as they can get the CGI right, we're out of here. We're done. When they get the CGI fans, it's a wrap. So y'all better enjoy it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they're still doing the fake reactions.
It's
because
crazy.
like I said on Twitter this week, like I actually understood at first. It's like, okay, we're reopening, but not everybody's coming. Like the attendance was fairly low when they first reopened back up to fans, and they like those first couple of shows were like sold out, and then after that it was like kind of didn't do well. That show you went to, Reg, was a great example of that. It was rough. But
some of these spots they're still pulling like 6,000
yeah.
people, 7,000 people.
And then on top of that, though, like there were still mask orders in place, and like granted, as much as you can yell through a mask, it's not going to sound the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound the same. So like I got it at first, but now that we're in a position where like that's not in place, like they are doing really good attendance, and
y'all in Florida and Texas where they don't care about masks.
I don't see masks. I barely see any masks in any of these crowds. It is weird that you're still doing that. Especially
when it doesn't, we can all hear it. It doesn't sound good at all. Like
it doesn't sound the same.
It's bad. It's so
bad. And I feel like they've had some missed time. They've had some missed time. Like remember during that Ronda Rousey promo where they like threw in this like massive pop like mid sentence, and it was.
You can't react to you with nothing to be reacted to.
It sounds real flat and lifeless. But no, I liken it to when Ray got that new manager in Ray, and he cut the lights down at the right time and quieted everybody down, and Ray came backstage like, how did you do that? What was that? Like, I feel like WWE looked around after they got their hands on that audio like, we can do that?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know we could keep doing that. Yeah, it's just like I said, when they figured out that they can put in cheers and boos, it was it. That was it.
Yeah,
gloves are off.
Yeah. Vince 1,000% came back.
I am
like,
legit.
What?
I legit though picture them with just like an NPC with just all the sounds.
Definitely. Somebody just like cheer.
You know, DJ got the headphones on. He's like, all right, here we go.
Man,
we got a DJ.
Dunn on the ones and twos back there.
God, Dunn's the DJ. Kevin Dunn, disgusting. Oh my God. Awful.
Mad King, what is AEW's best stipulation match? Personal favorite is the Bucks Lucha Bros cage match. Thanks for the entertainment during the Saturday.
I love
errands.
the Bucks and Lucha Bros ladder match too. That match was
I think I actually mentioned that I was a big fan, to be perfectly honest, of the casino ladder match. Not the first one that they did Double or Nothing, because I feel like not having a crowd for that
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same, but I do like the idea of Royal Rumble rules for a ladder match where it's a one-on-one, but as the match progresses, suddenly the ladder match becomes more difficult, and then it becomes anybody's match. And, the idea that there's a Joker if necessary, because if somebody retrieves the item before the Joker enters, then technically he's not necessary. We never would have needed him. I actually do like that. That's like a great original match idea. And honestly, I think of the casino matches, it's the best the casino tag match.
Yeah, I agree.
The casino battle royale and the casino ladder match. I think casino ladder match worked out best, and that made for a great moment for Hangman. Cody.
It's either the Cody cage match for me, where he did the moonsault off, or the ladder match with Sammy. I think.
Hey, Cody from Zero says heavyweight division title has successfully been defended only 3 times, and that Stipe holds the record. Nobody thinks Stipe isn't a dangerous man. Oh, am I that? Okay, I get what I'm doing wrong here. Oh, my bad. So stupid. I'm fucking American.
It's where we were raised, Will. We can't help it. We're Americans.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You look like you went to private school, man. Come on. Come on, man. You didn't? Am I the only one in the 3 of us that went to private school?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I am a product of the public school system.
You see how Will looked at me like I ain't?
Yeah,
I'm not.
he looked at you like, what, bro?
I'm not Clarence. You don't try and Papa Doc me on here. What are you doing?
He was like,
Me?
Sir, I went to how many? I went to 4 elementary schools at that. I moved around. I was the new kid way more often than I would have ever liked to be. Was it 4 elementary schools? Hamlin, Limerick, John M. S. Dalton. Yeah, I went to 4 elementary schools. And,
yeah, he looked me up and down like, what are you trying to throw on me? I am not Papa Doc, bro.
Never. I didn't know that you went to private school, Phil. How was that?
I didn't know that. That's actually interesting. I actually want to know more about this. How was your life in private school?
It was about what you would expect of going to private school. It's just, I don't know. I went to Catholic school for 8 years?
Oh shit.
Oh wow.
12 years. Sorry, 12.
Damn.
I went high school too.
Wow.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. You learn a lot about somebody.
Nah, man, there was graffiti on my elementary school.
I went to schools with race wars, so
listen. The Catholic school I went to was in the middle of the South Side, so of course it's race wars. It's Mexicans and black kids and white kids.
Oh, I mean, come on. Yeah, because
your private schools ain't the same as somebody else's private schools. It's still Chicago.
Yeah, that's true. Nah, I was, I don't know. It's as public school as it gets. As a matter of fact, I went to the school district I graduated in. I graduated from Rangeview High School. Ranks for the last 15 years. Go figure, I graduated 17 years ago. Dead last in college preparedness. They're dead last. They are so bad at preparing us for college. And in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, I could see that.
Every fucking high school is, though. That's the issue. My high school didn't prepare me for fucking college either. Whose high school prepares them for college except for the schools that are specifically meant for that? You know what I mean? Some West High schools, they didn't give a fuck. They're like, yo, get out of. We need to try to not die, first of all, and second of all,
not die.
Get these people to pass these stupid ass tests, and we'll get out of here.
So hilariously enough, the school I went to in for elementary school, it was a Catholic school, but right across the street there was a public school, and they staggered the time we got out of school so that we did not cross the street at the same time with the public school kids. Because I'll never forget, I never understood why most of the other schools around us got out at 2, but we got out at 3. And I'm like, why did we have to be in school till 3? And the school across the street, I see them coming out of the building at 2 o'clock. Why can't we leave? And so I quickly found out later that it's because they didn't want us to commingle. And I went and played basketball at that court across the street several times. I know why we didn't commingle. A lot of people got jumped at that park.
I'm saying. Yeah, they thought y'all was on some other shit because y'all were private school kids
Nah,
too.
man.
They
If
were
you
like,
come out with that uniform on,
I'm saying,
they feel like they
bro.
can try you, bro.
Bro, yeah, exactly.
I will
Straight
say,
up.
we did have uniforms at one of the elementary schools I went to, but that was literally because we were getting our asses beat for
Jordans.
yeah, and all and so it was like, okay, now it's
yeah, that was a
everybody has
different
to
time,
wear
bro.
everybody has to wear the same thing. Everybody has to wear nice shoes because
It's crazy.
Nah, people were absolutely out here getting killed over Jordans during that era,
That's
bro.
a fact.
It was
Big
crazy
facts.
out here.
Scary.
Yeah.
My mom bought me Jordans, and for a while I was like, I don't know, man. It's scary out there. But got to put them Jordans on, bro. You
as a
gotta
kid,
just
I had
go
one
for
pair
it.
of Jordans that I couldn't wear to school for that very reason.
Yeah.
And that was
Somebody gonna try to take them. Nobody honestly tried to take mine, thankfully enough. So
Yeah, so I think when you...
I got beat up and somebody stole my I had a picture that I printed, by the way, of I had this picture I had printed off of Bone Thugs and Harmony. This is my favorite group, right?
Boom, 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 boom.
No, let me tell you though, these niggas beat my ass for this picture.
What? What was so special about this picture?
what was the picture?
Bone Thugs and Harmony. I carried it
Why?
around. I was carried around in my backpack. It's photo of Bone Thugs and Harmony, right?
Jesus.
And because I was a big fan of Bone in elementary school,
And
and
niggas
they
like,
kicked.
yo, we got to get that picture, bro. That Bone Thug picture's hard.
They
We gotta
beat the
get
shit
it.
out of me and took my picture.
Wow. Did you have it like one of those binders with the clear thing and you slide
Yep.
it in there? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
No,
But
I remember I was on the ground. I'm still picturing feet coming my way. Just like, I can picture it as clear
Tell me
as day.
what you gonna do when there ain't nowhere to hide. I mean, there's nowhere to hide. You guys are there ain't nowhere to hide. Stop, please, help. That's a wild story, bro.
that is a hilarious thing to get beat up over.
Seriously, man. Y'all just take this picture, bro. I'll print another one. Y'all do not have to do this. This does not have to be like this. This could be a lot easier. I could print 5 or 6 of them if y'all want. Everybody out here can have their own picture.
Yeah,
Why do I see Nike Cortezes on my face right now, bro? It's crazy.
yeah.
Oh, my God. Not the Cortezes, bro. Oh, my God. Man. Yeah, for people that don't know, this is the thing I didn't realize, that's definitely a big regional thing that, like, here, everybody wore stark white Air Force Ones, but in Cali, Cortezes are the thing.
Yeah, Cortezes is the gangbanger shoe in California for sure. Like, I haven't worn a pair of Cortez, like, because I'm like, you can't buy those, bro. Like, the niggas be rocking those. Well, usually the Latino homies. The Latino homies took it over, actually, and they were just like,
There we go.
if
I'm
you
just
got
trying
on
to,
a pair
like,
of
clear this
Nike Cortezes, using them streets for reals.
Oh, man.
And then the black Air Force One just kind of came universal.
Black Air Force One energy became a thing.
It's just
But yeah, no, people, I that is one of the funny things with sneaker culture right now, that everybody buys Jordans now and everybody wants to wear Jordans. But
Yep.
man, it was crazy out
was
here.
scary.
If you bought Jordans for a minute, people were legit getting killed.
And that's funny because, like, when you being in Chicago, like, that's like when they talk about people getting killed for Jordans, they usually bring up Chicago, funny enough. So, like, it must have been super duper crazy out there, because I hear about that often. Like, in Chicago, niggas was getting shot.
In the 90s, yeah, it was.
I mean,
it was
hey,
crazy.
Jordan played in Chicago.
Jordan, Chicago. Yeah, I guess that makes the most sense. Yeah.
iChurch Pastor Blaster says, "Hey fam, just showing love. We appreciate you."
Appreciate that.
And let's
You
see.
went to Grand. There's a funny one coming up, that Monique one.
Shot Kid 29 says Stokely shouting out his girl Zia Lee on the way out on Twitter had me in tears
That was
yesterday. That was
hilarious.
great. Amir says, have any early prediction for the men's Owen final? I'm thinking it's going to be Darby versus Adam Cole. That would be fun.
I can see that.
I
I
think
don't
it
know if
should be
Darby's
something
going to be
unique.
at the end, though.
Yeah, I
Probably
don't
go
know.
with, like...
We got to see
I
the
was
whole
surprised
field.
that Jungle Boy lost, honestly. I thought he could have went pretty far.
Yeah, but they got to
far
defend
in
the
this.
tag titles at the pay-per-view, so.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what the entire field's going to look like.
Monique says, Phil, you went to Cranbrook? That's a private school.
That's a private school.
I'm a product of the private Catholic school, too. Was constantly clowned for being a Clarence.
Oh, man. That is funny.
His real name is Clarence. And Clarence lives at home with both parents. I definitely did not live at home with both parents. So, yeah.
That's it. Whew, too funny. Y'all are hilarious.
Did live at home with both parents. My parents are still together to this day. Happy anniversary.
Oh, happy
It
anniversary.
was like 2 weeks. It was like 2 weeks ago, but nonetheless.
Does your dad still have that tank of gas that you got for him like 3 months ago, or did he get a refill?
Yeah.
No, shout out to your parents. That's dope. How long has it been? You said
38 years they've been married.
Ooh, that's a long fucking
38
time,
years they've been
to
married.
be with one person. Oh,
and I think they were together for like 7 years before that. So,
oh my god, they've been together
hey,
a whole life.
as a matter of fact, I've been on the hunt, and if anybody could help me, this would be great. So, I've been trying to find. I know it had to have been 1978.
Oh damn, you going out the window with this one? You trying hard?
But my parents were on an episode of The Price is Right.
Wow.
And
Fam, the factoids that you just dropped.
I'm
hold
saying,
on. Hold on. I've been
in
trying to. I've only ever seen
1978,
pictures,
bro?
but I cannot find the episode itself. And I know they want a car because my dad held onto that car till the wheels fell off.
He just stopped driving that car yesterday.
They won a car and they won a stereo.
Damn,
And
so they
still
won too. That's legit.
Yeah, they won. And for the life of me, cannot find that episode. I found there's a newspaper article about it because my parents were living in Bakersfield, and it was like local Bakersfield man on The Price is Right.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Bako in the building. I didn't have to go
to
today. Shout out to my mom. Her birthday's tomorrow. Shout out to Mia Morrison. That's my
Oh,
mom.
man.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to
Happy
my
birthday.
mother tomorrow. She's going to the beach. That's why I'm not going to see her. Her favorite birthday trip thing is to go to the beach and just listen to the waves and just kick it. So shout out to my mom. Love my mom. She's the best.
Yeah, shout out Mama Reg.
You said it was The Price is Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my uncle was on Wheel of Fortune, and he won a car, too. So what's up, baby? Another Bakersfield man on blah, blah, blah.
I'm trying to get on a game show, man. I watch.
I want to be on Supermarket Sweep. I was just watching it. I'm like, I got to get on here, man. I'm going to win this. I'm going to see you, Leslie.
I watch The Weakest Link every week, and
That still comes out?
They've rebooted. Like,
Yeah, I'm like,
they're
what?
it's in its second season.
Really?
Yeah, it rebooted last year, and
Oh,
I love that show. And you know, because for those who know or don't know the format of The Weakest Link, you know, it's basically a team-based game. Every round you vote off a member of the team. You vote off the weakest link. So it comes down to two, then the two play against each other. And it's just funny to watch the dynamics because I like to predict how people are going to vote, because usually, like, the worst thing that can happen to you is if you're a male surrounded by women, because the women are going to vote you off. Like,
You're
if it's
out,
all
bro.
women left, like, you are out. Guaranteed they are going to knock your ass out. But same deal if you are a white contestant and you are surrounded by other and your teammates are all black, they are going to get your ass out. You could be the strongest link, but they will all look around and vote
Later,
you
Larry.
off. It's so great. Now I want to be on The Weakest Link, though. That's the one right now that I am.
That's a
all
Smarty
about.
Pants show, ain't it?
Yeah, but like I sit there and like answer these questions, and I'm like, I could do this. And of course, I'll probably be out first round. But at least as I'm watching it on TV, I'm like, nah,
We still need wrestler Weakest Link, and that loser that is a senator in Tennessee or whatever can't be on there with his dumb
Oh, man. They
mask.
did have the wrestlers on
Yeah,
that
that's
one
right.
time.
They had the right wrestler.
And that
Weakest Link.
big
It came.
loser that hates homeless people won that. Fucking
Yeah, that was a nasty tweet.
What
Ooh.
was that, man? Why are you talking like that? That's weird.
Hey, let's talk about the number one.
Brothers
Rebellion.
of Destruction are trash. Okay, yeah, let's move on.
There's Rebellion last week.
Yeah, Impact Wrestling, they came back. They righted a wrong of a lot of people that have been upset. Every time I'm like, watch Impact Wrestling, they go to this one moment. Why did they do that to Josh Alexander? Why did they do the thing with Moose? I don't know, man. They wanted to do it, but they righted the wrong. Josh Alexander got the Impact Wrestling World Title victory over Moose in a really great match, actually. They went for it. They did some crazy things. That style clash running thing was awesome.
Yeah,
there was
that
a
was awesome.
lot of great action in that. And yeah, Josh Alexander won the Impact World Championship, right at that wrong of people who were upset. So they're gonna try to move into a different direction, I hope. And I'm interested to see how his run goes. I wrote a story about cheap plug Wrestle Talk about Impact Wrestling and what they could do to keep the momentum, because I feel like every time they have a pay-per-view, people are interested and they watch it, and it's a great pay-per-view, but then like they get to the TV show, or they don't even get to the TV show and it's over. So Impact, there's a lot of things you guys could do, I think, to retain fans. Shows like this and doing things like this are the beginning. So yeah, there was a lot of other great action on the show too. You guys check it out.
Yeah. Have we talked about you doing the Wrestle Talk thing? And the last time I saw you, we talked about Wrestle Talk. And so when I saw you on Wrestle Talk, I did like the Bad Boys with like the shake a tail feather in the background. I was like,
Yeah, no, because before we left Texas, I was like asking Phil about writing, places to write and things that he, because he's had a bunch of experiences, and he mentioned Wrestle Talk, so I just went right over to Wrestle Talk. I'm like, yo, what's up? Your boy's out here. Holla at your boy. So yeah, I'm writing for Wrestle Talk now. It's super fun. I'm about to write an article today after this about Malcolm Bivens, aka Stokely Hathaway. Let's see if that goes up soon.
Yo, that's dope, man. Shout out to Tempest, man. Tempest is dope.
That's who hooked me up. Shout out to Tempest. That's the homie.
But yeah, no, this was a fun show. I thought the main event was good. How can you not think that entrance was adorable?
With the kid, oh man, and with the son, that was awesome.
With his same gear and everything. And even after he won, his son came back out and celebrated. Like, that was just a great moment.
When he was doing the little all the poses that his dad does to come out. Amazing.
Yeah, come on, man. That was a great moment for him. Having his family with him when he won. I thought that was a great payoff for the storyline. I thought that X Division match was just incredible.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was fire. Shout out to Ace Austin. He's a tremendous talent. I love that he's the X Division champion because he carries it well. His moveset is amazing. Trey Miguel, I've said it a million times, he's one of if not the most innovative American wrestler. I mean, luchadors are the craziest. They are first.
Yo, put Trey in the world title picture, man.
I'm saying
that dude
straight up. Yeah.
That dude's special, man.
That's what I wrote about in the article. Is I think they need to put more focus on, like, they have a bunch of X Division wrestlers who in the main event. They have Speedball Mike Bailey, Ace Austin, Chris Bay. All these guys would be tremendous in the world title scene, and I think they need to change it. They're sticking with, like, we do heavyweights. If you're 7 feet tall, then you're in the heavyweight division, and it does not have to be like that.
Yeah, I get why they're trying to do it, because they had a lack of real, like, legitimate world title guys and main eventers for a minute, so they had to supplement it with guys like Rich, and Rich was a great champion in my opinion, but I think they're just trying to rebuild up their world title scene with big guys. So I get it, but yeah, put guys like Chris Bay and Trey Miguel in that scene as well.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, the women's match I thought was good.
Taya.
Yeah, Taya versus Deanna was very good. I thought Tasha coming out with the Scar makeup and the gear was hilarious. Yeah. They end up having a pretty solid match as well.
Tasha has been amazing as Impact Women's World Champion. Her character is all the way out. She is Tasha Steele, and like the music and everything is just great.
Man, her coming out and getting straight in the camera and talking shit, I love it. That news came out with Inspiration leaving.
Yeah, that did.
And I thought that was a shame that they never got to wrestle Fire and Flavor, because I thought that would have been such a good feud with two established tag teams.
What a crazy ending to they've had a crazy couple years together and separately, the Inspiration. So I mean,
I think they're gonna wrestle again eventually, but I don't know.
Burnt out. Things are going a little, I get it.
I don't know the full story behind it. It is a little weird that they left and Caleb with a K left around the same time, and they were all kind of in the same storyline. And I don't know what are the specifics behind it, but of course, wish them the best. I think they're one of the best women's tag teams out there in terms of their package and their presentation. But no, this was a fun show, man. The Ishii match with Jonah was also very good.
Jonah's incredible.
There was a lot to like about this. I thought the tag team elimination joint was better than I expected it to be. This could have easily turned into one of those goofy things the Impact does where they rely on comedy. But it actually ended up being a fun match. And I think people for whatever reason, have like this harsh criticism of the Good Brothers, but the Good Brothers did a lot of heavy lifting in that match to make it good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like that. That match ended up going around 40 minutes, and I liked what they built within the match. It was really fun. Yeah, the really fun pay-per-view. Impact Wrestling always does it. They, at their show after that, the title match they set up is Josh Alexander versus Ishii, because Ishii got the victory over Jonah. So
Looking forward to that.
Under Siege next week, I think. They have a bunch of great matches on that already. So Impact Wrestling is always watch it on Thursdays, or pay the $1 and you can watch it on YouTube whenever you want. Give them a chance, you guys. Give them a chance.
Yeah, I think if you pay the $4.99, you could also watch their like network streaming thing, exclusive pay-per-views on there as well.
Yeah, $5. It's a good deal, and they got some old stuff that's good. Come on.
And that's really the best part about paying the $5 is you get the library.
Yeah, it's always about the library.
I was
AEW, hurry up, you guys.
I was thinking about my brother the other day. He asked me, I was thinking about the Good Brothers. My brother asked me, it's like, hey, whatever happened to the two guys who were with Kenny, with Festus? And I was like, that's what you remember?
Festus. Damn, Gallows is never going to live that down.
Yeah, I was like, you mean the Good Brothers? I was like, they're over at Impact. I was like,
With
they were
Festus.
technically never signed. But I just thought it was funny that's what you remembered about things.
There's a funny story with me mentioning Festus in relation to him and Emilio. It's hilarious. But no, man, Good Brothers, those are the guys, man. Honorary Good Brother here, man. You can't be talking shit about them.
Never.
And so I guess wrapping up in the chat, they're talking about who's hosting the Weakest Link right now. It's Jane Lynch. Put that on your plate. That's a reference. Total reference that you would only get that if you watch Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. But let's see.
Jane Lynch is cool though.
Yeah. iChurch Pastor Blaster said, happy birthday to Mama Righteous. Anniversary Will's parents. My parents celebrated 61 years.
That is a long time.
Man, that is a blessing, bro.
Yeah, shout out to your parents, man. 61
I mean, hold on. Let me do
years.
some math there real
That
quick.
is
Because,
I'll be liking women for like 2 years, and I'll be like, I think this might be it, baby girl.
So
Now I'm going to have 5 girlfriends. That's going to work out. So.
let's see. I mean,
No, but that's
all
insane,
right.
though.
No, actually,
Like, wow.
so I've been with my wife since I was 21. So I suppose I'd be 82 to celebrate 61 years with her. Well, we got married when I was 20.
That's a long time.
24. So then, yeah, that would have to be 85. So I mean, I lived that long.
Shout out to y'all.
I don't plan on getting divorced anytime
Hey, man,
soon.
we might see you guys celebrating an anniversary in a few weeks, right?
Yeah, our anniversary is May 17th, but
Oh,
we're actually
yeah.
going to celebrate it in Vegas. Double or nothing.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be an entirely wrestling
I don't know why
trip.
I did JR's theme song.
I was wondering where you were going with the Sooners joint.
Dun, 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 dun. That's what you and your wife are going to be dancing to.
Yo, if we come to Vegas and you're somewhere dancing to the Sooners thing, I'm just gonna walk out the room like, what are we doing, bro?
Look, this for me has been one of the funniest episodes of Grapsody.
I don't know what happened, but it's been a silly one.
Shout
I love
out
it.
to last one, Cody with the Humper Chat said Young Will getting beat as photographed by Nickelback is playing in the back.
And it's, the Bone Thugs picture. That's gonna blow my mind all day. That they were like, we gotta get this dude
It's just
today for
It's
his
just some
picture.
shit I printed off the internet, and like, granted, back then, of course, it was all dial-up internet, so it took like 10 minutes to download.
that was an expensive picture. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, in hindsight.
Oh man, I listen. I've been jumped for some wild things in my
Crazy
life, but
things.
not a picture of Bone
A
Thugs.
Bone Thugs picture, that's up there. I've heard some stories, but a Bone Thug picture, like, man,
Yeah.
they really. You please find the picture it was and post it to Twitter so we can.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and find out what picture was. I mean, because if I can find it, you'd be like, that picture. I know exactly which one it was. If I can find it, I will absolutely.
Big
post it.
Wishbone fans, I get it.
Yeah. Hey, folks. Nobody was a Wishbone fan. He's everybody's least favorite Bone Thugs member.
Don't be hating on Wishbone, man. He had a couple of bangers out there.
He never had a solo track because nobody ever wanted to hear
Yeah,
Wishbone
I
solo.
know,
It was like, nah, you bought the Lazy Bone album's crazy.
Oh man,
Lazy. Busy.
Flesh didn't
Flesh.
get a lot. He didn't get a lot
Hey.
of play though. Too.
That first Flesh solo album, Thugs, Choose Humbly United Gathering Souls. That went platinum. That was.
I did not know that.
A platinum album. That sounds insane.
The first Flesh and Bone album. I'm pretty sure it did. Let me make sure I'm not making shit up.
I'm about to be like, no, he would be flexing that if that was real. Like,
hold on, let me see. Flesh and Bone, Thugs.
That's what niggas are just buying out. My cousin had like every No Limit album.
Okay, sorry.
Damn.
All right, you're right. That one went gold. It did sell over 500,000.
That's still a lot.
It did sell over 500,000. Yeah, Flesh and Bone. I mean, that solo album was dope though. He had Fat Joe on it. He had it's a Fat Joe. Big Pun was what I meant to say. Though I think Fat Joe was also on it. And you know, he had the other members of Bone. He had Rev Run, that single "World So Cruel." I know a lot more about Bone Thugs and Harmony than I think I've ever let.
I mean, honestly, you got.
Nah, you put it out the picture, fam. Like you were part of fan club, man.
I was obsessive in the 90s about Bone.
My cousins and I, like 1995 on, it was like Bone Thugs are the only group that exists in the world, and this shit is hard. So
man, that was one during that time where I was like, nah, Midwest rap is dope too, because it was like everybody was like, you know, East Coast, West Coast.
The Midwest wasn't getting no love, and then when
you know what
came out, Crucial Conflict came out, got a little bit.
You know what Bone turned around and did? They did, as East Coast, West Coast, everything was going on. They did a song with Pac and a song with Big.
Yep.
Literally.
Only ones that got that. Only ones in the world that have that.
As all that was going down, they had
both those songs are super fire, too. Those are two of my favorite Bone Thugs.
For real.
Thug Love. Thug Up.
Anyway, folks, that's it for this edition of Grapsody. Thanks for being with us in an extended edition of Grapsody today, because I ain't got shit to do after this. But, folks... For Philip Lindsey, for Righteous Wretch, I'm Will Washington. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Peace.